winners dropping to the back just to try to miss the big one. Well, due to the new rules package, teams are finding it more difficult to drop back and then quickly work their way to the front. One of those teams is Johnny Benson, still looking for his first Winston Cup win. His car works better up front. That's where he's going to try to stay if he can, hoping to become the 9th different first-time winner here at Talladega. To Dick Bergeron.
In the 65 races here at Talladega that have preceded this one, there have been an average of 35 lead changes. That's a lead change about every 5 laps, and they only count those lead changes at the start-finish line. If they counted them around the track, it'd probably be 2 times, 3 times that many. Miss McCann in the 6th grade promised me history repeats itself. If it does, we will see a very competitive race here at Talladega today with a lot of different leaders, a race whose winner won't be determined until the last lap and probably the last few feet of that last lap. To Mike Joy.
History was always informative. I guess Dick's one of the few people I knew that found it also entertaining. Jimmy Johnson, the rookie, will start on the pole. 2nd time this year. Daytona, Talladega, there's 2 restrictor plate races. 4 Chevrolets in the front 4 spots in this Alabama getaway. Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, is the proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Winston Cup race. Today's Bud Pole winner, Jimmy Johnson, his 2nd of the season. He'll be in that Bud shootout next year at Daytona. Since 1979, Anheuser-Busch has awarded more than $7 million as title sponsors of NASCAR's Pole Award program.
Buddy, Rusty Wallace here. Rusty Wallace, this is DW up my TV tower. You got a copy, Bud?
Sure do. Go ahead.
All right, my man. What's the plan today?
I'll tell you what, we're going to good handle a race car, but there's a lot of good handling cars out there. So I think what we're going to do today is just stay in line. NASCAR's warned everybody about the yellow line again, so you won't see anybody dipping down there. But be a lot of 3-wide racing today, DW. Just got to keep the fenders on it, don't tear nothing up, and have this baby at the end. The end of the race is the whole deal.
You going to try to go the forward, or are you just going to ride where you are, follow the rear? What's your game plan, bud?
I believe I'm going to go right to the front. I'm just going to do whatever it takes to get up front, lead some races, lead some laps, and try to get away from everybody here.
All right. Have a good day. You be the man, and we'll keep an eye on you. Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Looking for his first Talladega win.
37 races here, only 1 top 5 finish.
Let's have a look at our Walmart starting grid for today's race. Jimmy Johnson on pole, and Robbie Gordon, his 2nd front row start of the year. 4 Chevrolets up front.
There's 2 good ones right there, I guarantee you.
Pontiac and a Dodge. They're in the 3rd row. And the first Ford in the field is rookie Ryan Newman.
Daytona 500 winner there, the best Dodge.
Steve Park in one car had a practice accident yesterday along with Bobby Hamilton and Mike Wallace in the 33. They will have to start at the rear of the field.
Good start for Kyle Petty, 11th, and Terry Labonte, who led last week, 12th.
I've got to keep an eye on old Terry today. He's getting better and better every week.
Tony looks hungry.
Fine wine, you know, he's just getting a little better with age.
You saw Jerry Nadeau there, new crew chief.
There's Mike Wallace again, have to drop to the rear of the field. Andy Petrie, both of his cars involved in 1 accident. Bobby Hamilton in the 55, Mike Wallace in the 33.
A couple of Roush cars in row 10. Hi, Jack. Get better fast.
Larry will calculate the mileage for you today, Jack. Don't worry. He's the best.
See Brett Bodine in 11 car. That's the fastest from qualifying of the Robert Yates engine brigade.
Kenny Wallace in a 1-race ride for Michael Waltrip Racing. There with John Andretti.
Kenny is super sub. You just need to just call him. He'll be there.
Frank Kimmel is back again in Travis Carter's car next week in Doubt.
First Winston Cup race for Kimmel here at Talladega.
Look where our point leader is.
And see Alabama, Steve Grissom in the 44 car this year replacing Buckshot Jones, and not sure if that's going to be permanent. They're just going to take it from race to race.
And provisional land, including our number 2-point man, Matt Kenseth.
And Ricky Rudd was really quick in happy hour yesterday, so that's that particular Yates car got to going pretty good yesterday. That other one right there, that 88, he's not very happy.
I mean, just look at the names in provisional land. Bobby Hamilton in the 55 won this race a year ago. The 2 Yates cars, 88, Dale Jarrett, 28, Ricky Rudd, and Bill Elliott.
Shauna Robinson, ARCA star Bobby Gerhart, Rick Mast, and Dick Trickle in the Ray Evernham development car failed to make the field. Dick Berggren on a developing story.
Jerry Nadeau, car 25, is scheduled to start in the 15th position. He has engine trouble. It was hard starting on the grid. He had to drop down and drop back a little while ago as everybody else was running along. He floored the thing trying to clear it out. They think they have a potential plug problem. Crew chief Ken Howes has told them, if it's a problem on the start, drop down, be safe. They don't want to see this right at the start of a big race at Talladega. Trouble in the engine for Jerry Nadeau.
Well, based on yesterday, 15 laps into that race, they had a huge crash. Maybe falling back early here in this race wouldn't be all bad.
Not a bad plan. Today's Track Facts brought to you by KFC. Look at all the records that are held by Talladega Super Speedway. The fastest race, the fastest qualifying speed, nearly 213 miles an hour, most lead changes, most different leaders in a race, and the closest margin of victory. They had one race here that was decided officially by one bumper width and won by 5 1/1000ths of a second. There's fast food, then there's KFC.
A lot of that is because where the start-finish line is. That creates incredible finishes here. When you come off turn 4 anywhere else, you say, I got it won, I got it. Here, you're just starting to race.
That little distance can make a big difference. You go back to the race last year, Bobby Hamilton winning the race, Tony Stewart second. I mean, we couldn't even tell who finished 3rd through 30th.
At Daytona, the start-finish line is right up there in the middle of the tri-oval, right about centered in pit road. Now, those seats are an easy sell because you can see the pits from there. When Bill France built this speedway, let's put the start-finish line down here and make these good seats, too, down toward turn 1. Here's today's race analysis brought to you by Dr. Scholl's. 43 cars will try to complete 188 laps, making up the 499.XXX or 500 miles. And the pit window today.
55 to 60 laps, good tire here. We may see teams only change left sides one time in this 500-mile event. You want to be out front. Any move you make on pit road to make that happen, going to help you.
Mr. Weatherman?
Absolutely. 82 degrees, and our track temperature is 113 degrees. You know, track temperature don't mean a whole lot here, but that air temperature can mean a lot the way these motors run.
Dr. Scholl's, look, feel, do better.
Mr. Feelgoods. We're usually referring to Goodyears when we refer to Mr. Feelgoods, but today is the Speed Doctor Show.
Well, let's refer to our onboard cameras. And we have a dozen of them for you today. Jeff Gordon, Robbie Gordon. No relation. Michael Waltrip.
Some relation.
Well, to you?
Yes.
Kenny Schrader. Oh, I hope that's a lucky charm. A leftover from last night's dinner.
It wasn't lucky for the rabbit. I don't know about Kenny.
Johnny Benson. Elliott Sadler. With our Ford camera. Get well Jack Roush, injured in a plane crash Friday evening, flying an experimental light plane. And our Old Spice onboard camera, that is riding with Tony Stewart.
Now, Mike, I know there's a lot of magic words in racing. And little did I know when I started this that these words were going to become magic to so many people.
Your check is in the mail.
Here they come, and we're going to go racing. We're going to go boogity, boogity, boogity into that first turn wide open.
Like a lot of racetracks, they necessarily won't be hunting the bottom. They'll just want to see which one of these lines starts to move the quickest.
That's a pretty strung out start.
Actually, it is for here. They usually are all kind of wadded up as they go down in that first turn. Robbie Gordon had a really, really good car in happy hour yesterday. He was very happy with it. Saw him pass a lot of cars. Looks like it's going pretty well for him right now.
Looks like that inside line, though, it's starting to move there.
Well, that's where everybody gets, everybody wants to get to the inside. It's kind of like it's the safest place to be on the start.
More often than not, the pole winner has not led the first lap here, though.
Hey, that 48's got a little steam up under the hood. It's got some ponies.
And it's got the 15 pushing it along.
And that's a lot of help, too. Man, Robbie Gordon, he's already blocking somebody.
Junior.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 8 car. He's got Ryan Newman in 12 behind him.
Now leaving on track 1, Jimmy Johnson on the inside.
Oh, they'll get them warmed up. Fluids will heat up. Things will pick up here very shortly.
Kenny Wallace, Tony Stewart, 3 wide in the back straightaway. In the middle.
You got the comers and the goers here.
I mean, I just look at our score monitor. 43 cars. I think only about 5 was running in the same position they started in at the completion of lap 1.
Oh, yeah. This thing just heating up.
from Tony Stewart. Looking ahead at Jeff Burton. Let's have a look at speed and RPMs.
Really won't see the RPMs change that much. You know, at Martinsville, we'd see it way down here, way up here. You see it's going to hang right in here around 7,000.
Got 189 miles an hour, 190, 191, yeah, about 191 into the first turn.
Kurt Busch swept out high and created that third lane.
And just think if they only qualified at 184 miles an hour, so they're at 191 racing.
And that's all about the draft, getting a pull off the cars in front of you and getting a push from the cars behind you.
This is about all the help from your friends that are behind you there. And how about Matt? Matt's breathless. He can't speak. I don't blame him. He must be watching the monitor.
Yeah, so are most of these drivers, Darrell. Darrell, this has got to be fun, but it's got to be a really tense kind of fun to be in one of these cars.
It's fun because it's what you do. I mean, you know, you make a living driving a race car. This is a race. It's really good when you feel comfortable, and that's not very often here. Your cars dance around. They move around. The wind moves them around so much. Turbulence. Lots of turbulence.
Now, they're 3 wide, but there doesn't seem to be a bad lane.
It's okay right now. We're on fresh tires. Everybody's really up on the wheel right now. Everybody's kind of minding their manners. That's the whole thing about this race, minding your manners.
But you just look at the way these guys are running, Darrell. I mean, that would be trust right there. I mean, they're 3x3 for 10 rows.
But what would happen, and it's what you have to worry about, what happens if something happens in the front of this whole pack of cars?
That's what happened yesterday. This is what they came to see. The whole field of Winston Cup cars fanned out 3 wide all the way back through 40th place.
And guess what? This is the way it will be for the next 3.5 hours. So you might want to run out to the garage, get your roll of duct tape, take your TV tape your TV down because it's going to get exciting.
Kurt Busch in that 97 car right there, the Jack Roush car, he's bringing that outside line. They pulled up beside Robbie Gordon in the middle line right there.
Now you see these cars are all buffing around. Not necessarily the driver doing that. When they're 3 wide like they are there, they're going to move around, and that's the problem. You move around, you get into a guy beside you, knocks him into somebody else, and away they go.
I mean, this track is very bumpy all the way around, and you run aggressive shots to keep it pulled on the ground to make it run fast on the straightaways. They bounce around.
If we had dynamic scoring, it couldn't keep up. Kurt Busch is 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 8th. He hasn't moved, but the whole pack has moved around him.
And they're 4 wide now going down into turn 1. Boys, this is just hold your breath time. Everybody here is just holding their breath.
Hut Strickland stuck in the middle.
And Darrell, what these guys will do, again, with that 7/8 restrictor plate that takes about 300 horsepower, they're wide open all the way around. If you catch somebody, what they'll do, they'll drag that brake pedal. They won't back off the throttle. They'll just reach up there and drag the brake pedal.
Oh, yeah, it's all about momentum. Once you get them wound up, you cannot back off. If you do, one thing will happen, you get run over from behind. The other thing is, if you don't get run over, you lose a lot of spots.
So you can get Bristol stomped here, too.
Oh, yeah, it's a driver's nightmare. He's got a car right in front of him. He's a little quicker, but he can't go around him. Somebody's behind him bumping him. It's constant confusion.
Still 2 wide outside.
And you never know what line to get in. All of a sudden, the line you're in stops moving, and the one next to you moves. You got to try to get in the inside, in the outside.
Boy, Robbie Gordon in the 31 trying to get in there behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhart Jr. got to run around the outside of him out of the trial.
There is nowhere in the world that you can see something like this. There's not a ride at Disney World. There's not a computer game. There's not a racetrack that you can go and see something like this.
Biggest smile in this field right now belongs to Jeff Burton. Started 25th. He has snaked his way through this pack up to 10th place. Jimmie Johnson has led every one of the 6 laps so far. Michael Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in hot pursuit at Talladega. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s red number 8 Chevrolet sliced inside of Jimmie Johnson to take the lead. And look who's right behind Johnson. Jeff Burton, who's come from 25th spot.
And that was quite a move, Mike, from the outside between Michael and the 48 car to get to the lead. That was quite a move.
Win a trip to a NASCAR race. Call collect. 1-800-CALL-ATT. Jeff Green, another mover from 30th to 5th.
On the line for a while.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what happens here. You know, like I said, you got comers and goers. The guys in the front will go to the back. The guys in the back will go to the front. And they'll do that all day long. backs and forth. It's kind of like a little chess match here. Try to figure out where you can end up at the front at the end of the day.
The last 4 restrictor plate races, 3 top 2 finishes for Dale Earnhardt Jr., including 2 wins. 1 here, 1 at Daytona.
Trying to help Michael. You see him move over in front of Michael to give Michael the pull. Jimmie Johnson doing a great job of hanging right there with him, as long as well as Robbie Gordon. He's hanging right there too.
You know, guys, I want to talk about our points leader because I think there was a little surprise on qualifying day. Sterling Marlin in the 40 car, he qualified 33rd. Look, we got a battle for the lead here between teammates. Michael Waltrip, 15 car, got some help from Jimmie Johnson in the 48.
Oh, easy 48.
Outside, 2 by 2.
Boy, he almost come down in front of that 31 car, and that would have been disastrous.
And the 31, Robbie Gordon, has help from his teammate, number 30, Jeff Green.
Well, you see what happened to the 48 car, Jimmie Johnson. He lost his momentum messing around there, and it's going to really cost him. He's in the middle right here, falling back fast.
With no help a lot. But Sterling's all the way up to 15th is where I was headed with that story right there after starting 33rd. And that was some concern starting that far back.
Well, it's still a lot. Look at these guys. I mean, there's still a lot of concern as far as the first 20 laps or so is just really, really nerve-wracking from the driver's perspective, and everybody watching as well.
Burton currently in 15th place, our Daytona 500 winner. Steve?
Well, Mike, in talking to Ward Burton and crew chief Tommy Baldwin this morning, they weren't making any changes to the race car, but Ward Burton was concerned about blind spots. He's having trouble seeing cars around him. So what they did add was Ward literally cut foam rubber inserts out to boost his seat in the driver's cockpit a little bit. He's having a hard time seeing. He said, I can't trust my spotter here. I've got to feel and see everything. Matt Yoakum.
Steve, the move around the 48 car by Dale Earnhardt Jr. was choreographed by his spotter, Ty Norris. Jr. told the spotter, tell Michael, just go with me and let's get around this young boy. He's looking, though, in his mirror for the 20 of Tony Stewart. Besides working a lot together during speed weeks, they worked a lot together in the draft. A lot of respect these two drivers have for each other, but their cars work very well together, especially with Stewart pushing the 8. That's why they feel like the 99's running so well, because the 20 is pushing the 99.
Last time I checked, Jimmie Johnson is a little bit older than Dale Jr. So let's get around this young boy here.
Except in terms of Winston Cup experience.
Right. You got it.
You know, just to put a period on Ward Burton, remember, that's not the car he won the Daytona 500, because you win the Daytona 500, it goes in Daytona USA for a year. This is a brand new race car.
And he was the fastest qualifying Dodge, so still got a good ride.
And you don't get the tack, the steering wheel, the shocks, anything out of that winning car for a year.
Looked like Kenny Schrader in the 36. He's got problems right here. He's falling back and losing the draft. I'd say normally that's an engine problem.
Well, it sounds okay though. I don't hear any misfire or anything. Maybe he got knocked sideways.
He's just regrouping.
If he did, it'll take him a while to get over it.
The M&M Global vote, for which will become the new color M&M. Purple, pink, or aqua. Purple.
And that vote's coming from about 75 different countries. There's countries voting that don't even get to vote in the politics of their country.
Quite frankly, I think a real M&M would be pink.
Oh, Darryl.
And Schrader said he don't have a problem if it ends up being pink.
I like pink.
Because whatever color wins the vote, he has to drive that colored car.
That's why I think it'd be perfect.
Okay.
Schrader in a pink car.
All right.
I love it.
Folks, we're on pink. Jeff Gordon has passed his protege, Jimmie Johnson, the 48. Gordon is half owner of Johnson's car, and that's Jeremy Mayfield right behind Gordon, and Kevin Harvick to the inside.
Well, there's two kind of drivers here, Mike. There's those that know what to fear and those that don't. And you're going to see two totally different driving styles and racing styles between those kinds of drivers. Those boys out front, they don't know what to fear.
I mean, Jeff Gordon started 10th. He fell back to about 25th. Now he's worked his way back to 10th.
Steve, what's wrong with Kenny Schrader's car?
Well, Mike, you're not going to believe this. Continuing our tradition of Talladega strangeness, Schrader radioed and said a piece of roll bar padding fell off and hit the ignition switch and killed the motor.
Thank goodness.
Now,
he can as strapped in as he is, he can reach that switch.
Put that in your book of excuses.
Oh yeah, big help today, wasn't it?
Yeah. Put that in your book of excuses of why I didn't win.
But the problem he has, he's lost the draft. He needs a caution flag to be able to catch back up. He has no help back there to push him back to the pack.
Well, right now, if there was a caution flag, he might, if it happened in front of him, he would just barely get slowed down before he got in.
He's in perfect position to dodge it.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., rookie Ryan Newman, and Michael Waltrip leads the Aaron's 499 on Fox, presented by Pepsi.
As they get lined up. You get lined up like that, you catch a pack. You're pushing and pulling each other.
Now they're close enough to sniff the draft of that front pack, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're there now. About 100 yards. What happens to these cats back in here, though, is Hamlin, I don't care what anybody says. They always say, oh, Hamlin don't make a lot of difference at Talladega. Hamlin makes a difference everywhere. And if you ever have to start squeezing up out of the throttle because your car's pushing or getting a little bit loose or it's not comfortable in traffic, everybody gets away from you.
Where the gap is beginning to develop as you watch Jeff Gordon at 191 miles an hour is from the single file to the double wide cars. That's where the gap is building.
That's it.
These guys right here, there's nothing they can do. It's not like they are in some kind of control. They got to hold what they got, but they're going to get left behind if they don't hurry up and get in line.
We have about the top 19 cars lined up, and as you say, till that group gets organized in a single file, it'll continue to pull away.
Well, they're still trying to decide which line is the fastest, you know, in the inside, outside, middle, and they haven't figured that out yet.
Pole sitter Jimmy Johnson has dropped back in the field to 16th place. Dick Berggren.
Well, he radioed his crew just a moment ago, Mike, and said that the car is more loose than anything else. He tried running up on his teammate, Jeff Gordon, and said the car just got more loose. Perhaps more worrisome, he has told the crew that the water temperature has risen to 230 degrees. That'll make it tougher for him to close up on the back end of anybody.
230, where would you like to see that temperature?
Well, here you got to be at about 210. These things, they start detonating. In other words, they start misfiring internally. You got that restrictor plate on there, and the heat goes up, the power goes down, and won't run a lick.
After about 230, the driver says he can almost feel it stop, quit running.
She bogs down on him.
Mike Skinner changed engines. Had to start tail end of the field and look at his progress.
Yeah, he was at the tail end of the field. He didn't even complete his qualifying run the other day, and he's all up to 16th. So he's definitely making a move in his 4-car.
And as I was saying about handling, you hear Jimmy Johnson say, hey, my car's looser, and it's been all week. He hadn't been out there with 43 other cars all week long. You get out there in a little pack of cars, you're pretty happy. The tape on the grill, temperatures are good, but when you put all these cars out there together, it changes everything.
The field is now broken up into 2 packs. This is Kenny Wallace. Pole sitter Jimmy Johnson to his left. Casey Atwood to the right. He's trying to follow through, push up the middle.
That middle's a sucker hole. It'll pull you up in there and you say, this is the way to go. And then all of a sudden, backwards you go.
Well, the field had split off into 2 distinct packs. Mark Martin is trying to lead that second pack forward along with Ricky Rudd.
It seems that those first 7 cars are a good bit quicker than everybody else. And they stay single file and the other cars can pull up to them, but that's all they can do is just pull up to them.
And then they get racy and get double file again.
And as soon as they get there, they say, oh, we caught them, let's race now. And then they go backwards again.
Was that Jeff Green?
Jeff Green
dropping down inside.
Yeah, he saw an opening there, and he wanted to get to the inside, and he took it. And by the way, folks, you don't give hand signals or turn signals here. You just take it.
There's the breakaway, 7 cars. Here's the rest of the field.
Jeff Gordon in 24, he's just on the verge of losing that group. But I think what happened, Darrell, he run up there to him. But the product of the restrictor plate is you will get so close to him, and you just can't go ahead and get to the rear bumper. It's like a wall you run up against.
Yeah, it is a wall of air. That's what it is. And some cars will pull up and go on, and others will just die. They just stop.
And he's definitely losing that top 6.
Oh, yeah, he pulled them up there. They got single file, and he pulled them up there, but he doesn't have enough steam to stay with them.
Now, it was 191. Look at him now.
Yeah, and you can drop as much as 500 RPM in and out of the draft. And you can lose 4 or 5 miles an hour in or out of the draft. A good example, Kenny Schrader's running 52.90. The leader is running 50.90. 2 seconds.
6 cars, then Gordon, and the second pack is now caught up Jeff Gordon.
Now, when those cars get up behind Jeff and start pushing him, then they'll go forward again. But you can't do it by yourself.
As long as they got a little bit of a single file going on, no side-by-side racing.
Darrell, do you mean pushing with the air or literally pushing?
Well, the pushing with the air. I mean, that wall of air that he was hitting, now that car behind him is helping him break through it.
27 laps complete. The Talladega Superspeedway, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, Michael Waltrip, Robbie Gordon still coupled together at the front of the field. Among the front six. For extended post-race coverage with analysis and interviews, tune over to Speed Channel. To get Speed Channel on your cable system, call 1-888-22-SPEED.
Things are starting to heat up, boys.
The top 6 is now about the top 12 or 15 running together.
There will be a time in here when that outside lane will start to pull up there. And we were talking about Mike Skinner a little while ago. What a great run to the front he made. You know where he's running now? 39th.
They have kicked Ryan Newman. The 12 car was running second for about the last 10 laps. They kicked him out, but he's got help coming. Jeremy Mayfield in the 19. That group is pulling up to him. They'll be his best ally getting kicked out of line.
Jimmy Johnson, and was that Harvick or Sterling that jumped to the bottom of the racetrack right there? That was a bold move. It was Sterling, and he brought point-standing runner-up Matt Kenseth with him.
Well, you just have to take advantage of every opportunity, no matter how small it may be. If you see an opening, you've got to go for it because you can't let off that throttle.
And Darrell, all these moves we see, these jump-out moves, are from the top to the bottom of the racetrack, not the other way.
Yeah, well, everybody wants to be on the inside. I mean, general consensus would be the inside would be the fastest place to be all day long.
Tell that to Tony Stewart, who just pulled out to go high, and now he is the hot dog between the bun.
And you just watch. It's going to be very difficult for him to do anything except go backwards. He got the 48 car there behind him, or is that, no, that's Jeff Gordon behind him. It might be a savior for him.
But you know, one reason, Mike, in the corners, you'll see them go from the top to the bottom. Get a run down. You'll pick up RPMs, pick up speed from the top to the bottom.
Well, the other reason is you can see the left pretty good. You can't see a dadgum thing to the right.
Good point. Martin on the outside of Robbie Gordon.
Things are getting ready to tighten up. That free ride that that front 6 was getting is over with, boys. That outside is coming.
I mean, Darrell, if you're like Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon, and you're in the middle, and it's just lap after lap after lap, I mean, do you finally just say, I can't stay here no longer?
You can, exactly. I mean, finally, you got to say, I either got to get inside, outside, or I got to get to the back and start all over again.
I've had all I can stand.
That's all you can do because your car is all over the place.
Jeremy Mayfield led that lap. He's the race's third different leader after Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And I talked to Ray last night, Ray Everhand. He told me, he said, DW, I'm going to work on that 19 car today. We're going to make some changes on it. He said, I'm going to put it like we used to run it with Jeff Gordon. And he said, see how I do.
Larry, the Dodges and the Fords didn't qualify all that well. It looked like an all Chevrolet show after qualifying, but in the race, things are really different.
Well, I mean, again, you know, if you're a little down on drag, if you're hurting for drag, once you get out there in dirty laundry, dirty air, it kind of evens everything up.
All right, we got 34 laps here that we've completed. These cars are about now going through big transitions, burning off fuel, tire pressures are up. Drivers are just getting a little irritated right now. Not a lot, but a little bit. Things are going to heat up. People are going to start making some erratic moves.
Here comes one right here. Michael Waltrip trying to get a little help from Robbie Gordon on his teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he moved to the bottom right here going into turn 3. I mean, look how close they're running, and this is getting off in a corner at 190 miles an hour.
Well, they think they can bump draft, and you can as long as you're going straight, but you better not try it in the corner. Dick Bergman.
Well, pit strategy here at Talladega will be a good bit different than if you watched the race last weekend at Martinsville. There, on the short track, tires were the whole ball game, and people constantly came in and fired tires at the car because that helped get them through the corners. Here, tires are far less important than track position. Unless there is a caution flag, we don't anticipate seeing anyone come in to pit their car until around lap 50. Even at that, you're going to see people today take just 2 tires in order to get a faster pit stop out of this place. Track position, the whole ball game at Talladega.
Look at this. The cars in the parking lot are not this close.
Yeah, and folks, this is not orchestrated.
No.
They are not doing this. This is not practicing your precise flying mirror.
Yeah, this is not let us entertain you.
Yes.
This is I'm trying to get to the front.
Going to get crowded off of 4 here, guys. We're bottlenecking up here.
I mean, you know, as a crew chief, I'm running around right now. I'm trying to pick my dancing partner, when I want to pit, what I want to do. But Jeff Hammond, I'm also trying to keep an eye on my driver and what's going on out there, because what might be his partner now may be 20 car lengths between them when we get to a pit stop.
Yeah, you go through all the practice sessions and you try to figure out, hey, I ran good with this car. You talked about it earlier, the 20 car running good with this guy. All of a sudden, you can't get to the man you'd like to, so you got to start trying to find some friends out there. This part of the race, you can find a few friends. You can find guys who will work with you. So you start trying to make those marriages and try to keep your car at the front as best you can. By the end of the day, don't expect that to be there.
Little bump there. Newman into the back of Jeff Gordon, just to kind of push him along into the corner.
This is like a big flock of geese flying through the air. The guy in the front, he's working the hardest. He's breaking the air open for you, and everybody else is getting a free ride. And that free ride is what pulls you forward so quickly sometimes.
Steve Burns.
You know, Mike, it's amazing, as you guys pointed out, how much these cars move around from the front to the back. Terry Labonte started 11th, dropped to 38th. I went down and asked crew chief Jim Long if they were okay, and he just kind of shrugged his shoulders. Says, yeah, Terry says the car's fine. He just got shuffled out. Well, then, you see the 5 car, he moved up as high as 23rd. He's just riding. In fact, in practice, he didn't even run that many laps yesterday because he didn't want to tear up the race car. He's just being nice, cool, and collected.
And Jeff Green is the ping pong ball of the day. He started 30th. We told you he had climbed his way all the way up to 5th. And on the last time by, in that 3-wide shuffle, back to 27th. It's been an up and down day, and we've only run 37 laps. And Johnny Benson, Jeff Green right behind, and Kyle Petty splitting the middle. Now, Kyle started 11th. He moved up. He's dropped back to 29th. Now he's picked up a spot or two.
You get a little bit of help from Kevin Harvick in that silver 29 car, the Goodrich car.
And again, what you try to do when you're nose to tail with somebody is you got to keep your foot on the floor. You got to keep that right one matted and use that brake pedal. Got a car off the pace here.
Yep, Bobby Hamilton.
He went up, almost hit the wall. I don't know if something happened to the car or not.
Up front for the lead, Michael Waltrip goes nose to nose with his teammate, and Tony Stewart, as Matt told us earlier, hooks on with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Michael Waltrip's down there in the 15 with not a whole lot of help.
Oh, he's going to get
Ryan Newman dropped down there. He's going to try to push him on.
Those are the 2 best cars, the 8 and the 15, and you're going to, you know, somebody's going to get behind you. You can count on that. They've seen those 2 cars lead the race. They've been up front since the drop of the green flag. That's who I want to go with. You looking good, baby.
See that car behind Ryan Newman, though, the 12 car, that's a teammate as well. Kenny Wallace in the 48. DEI car, DEI engine. Kenny always runs well here. Ran second here about a year and a half ago.
And Jeff Gordon is up there in the mix in 6th, right alongside Kenny Wallace. Why are the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated cars, the DEI cars, so good on the plate tracks?
Well, it's certainly, we always talk about aero, and they seem to have developed a great aero package, but I got to tell you, I think it's hand-me-down information. I think it's what Dale left behind. I think it's that notebook that we always talk about. I think Dale knew things about Daytona and Talladega that he had figured out with Childress and others, and he just incorporated into those cars, and they always have run good. Think about how well Dale always ran at Daytona and Talladega.
Well, 2 of his cars, Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip, lead this parade. The 98 of Kenny Wallace and the 1 of Steve Park are also out of that shop.
I've always said your legacy is what you leave behind. And Dale left behind so much for so many. And these guys are taking advantage of it.
Bobby Hamilton in the 55 was on pit road. He's back out on the racetrack, but he's a lap down. Also, Frank Kimmel driving the 26 car for Travis Carter. He's in the garage area.
Hamilton got tires. We're looking back from Kenny Wallace.
And you'll notice as we look at those 3 distinctive lines, they're not straight. You've got to be one side or the other of the car in front of you so you can see what's going on. You can't just fall right dead in behind that guy or you're blinded. You've got to be able to see.
Folks, it's just like in the traffic jam of your morning commute, except this is at 190 miles an hour. And I hope your morning commute is not.
Outside.
A lot of times we'll see those guys pull out like that. We heard Jimmy Johnson talk about his water temperature. You're tucked up behind his car. That's just making the water temperature go up. You'll stick it out there, get a little air in that radiator inlet, cool that water down.
You're all clear, all clear.
It'll put a little downforce on the nose, too. But when you're all lined up like that, basically you're trying to see.
41 of 188 laps complete. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back to the front. He's led all but 10 laps so far at Talladega. with Elliott Sadler. Friday evening, Jack Roush, 60th birthday present, a ride in an experimental light plane. He clipped a power line and the plane fell into the lake, upside down, submerged in 8 feet of water. Larry Hicks, retired Marine Corps Sergeant Major, who had been specially trained in underwater rescue, went into the water. On his second dive, found Jack. On his third dive, pulled him out of the water, pulled him to shore, applied CPR, and saved his life. Larry said, "I was just doing what I'd been taught." We think he's a hero. That's our Ford No Boundaries moment.
And I think there's angels amongst us.
Oh, there must be. For this man to be the bystander, and Darrell, there's more to the story. Larry Hicks was suffering from cancer, and it was thought he might not live out past the year 2001, but he's under chemotherapy, and he was there for Jack Roush. You gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Kenny Schrader's bad luck continues. It took him about 25 laps to lap him here. That just goes to show you how slow you're running by yourself. Once he was lapped, he came to pit road, got 4 fresh tires here on lap 45.
Did anybody mention Sterling Marlin lately?
Our point leader?
Our point leader.
There he is. Just ahead of Ryan Newman.
And in third place.
Very quietly.
Yes, methodically.
Right up there to the leaderboard. Bobby Hamilton got 4 tires on his pit stop, and Frank Kimmel had a broken shock absorber problem. That's why he is off the track. Sterling Marlin started 31st, made that big jump up into the top 15, fell back with that big pack. Here he comes.
And what I see about this car, Larry, and you know this too, every week they start off, maybe don't qualify too good, but before the day's over with, that is the best handling race car on the racetrack. Saw it at Darlington, saw it everywhere we've been so far this year. Rockingham, he gets that car at Daytona better and better as the race goes along.
It don't seem to matter what type of racetrack. This is his Daytona 500 car. This is the one he got out, pulled on the right front fender, and was penalized.
Let me tell you who else has pulled up to that front pack is Hut Strickland. The Bill Davis Dodge up to 5th place. Strickland has had a real up and down day, and we've seen him pull some daring moves, but it's gotten him to 5th.
I'm sure a lot of fans here pulling for him. Hut's from Alabama.
It's been a while since we had 2 Alabama drivers in a Winston Cup race, Hut Strickland and Steve Grissom from Gadsden.
And this comes as no big surprise to me, but I think the sleepers in the race are all the Dodges. I think that once they get racing and they get the air moving around, that's a very good race car. We got like 6 Dodges in the top 11.
He has Jeremy Mayfield in 19. Realistically, his teammate Casey Atwood in the 7 Ray Evernham car with Jim Smith co-own in it.
There's Casey, right behind Jeremy. His sponsor just announced, Sirius Radio just announced they'll sponsor the Michigan June race and the Watkins Glen race.
No, Darrell, you said you talked to Ray. I talked to Ray Evernham as well. And one thing he was concerned about, he said the GM and the Fords are starting to turn the restrictor plate motors up a little bit more RPMs. And he said it just don't seem like that the Dodges want to turn that many RPMs with the restrictor plate.
One of the problems I think that the Dodge teams have had is last year they built this car brand new last year, 2001 Daytona 500 on last year's aero package. They had the fin on the roof, the wicker bill on the back, and they built the car around that package. And when they took that off, unlike the other teams, they had no notes. So they basically had to start all over again. That's not affecting the engine program so much, Larry, but you got to remember something. With that other aero package had a much bigger restrictor plate.
Yes.
So when they went to this small plate, the Ford teams and the Chevrolet teams had experience with the small plate.
Only a 16th bigger, but that's about 35 or 40 horsepower.
And it changes the power band in the motor.
Now, Larry, if we have pit stops under the green flag, that can be a great equalizer here. Right now, 1st to 20th is only 2 seconds as Jeffrey Bodine makes his stop. 1st to 40th is just 4 seconds.
I mean, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find me 3 or 4 other teams that I don't want to pit with everybody on pit road. I mean, you get banged and beat and fenders knocked in. If I can find me 3 or 4 guys and you share information, are you going to do 2? Are you going to do 4? It does you no good if you're going to change 2 and they change 4, because then all of a sudden you get separated from them.
What you got to be really careful of is when you come on to pit road is to not, somebody's going to smoke the tires. Guys behind them see that smoke, they react. So you got to be careful when you come on pit road and not get run over from behind you got to give a hand signal plenty early. I think the 44 car had that problem.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Jimmy Johnson is pitting right now. He is pitting along with his teammate, Jerry Nadeau. That was an orchestrated deal so that they would pit together. Johnson's car, they're still concerned about heat. They pulled a piece of tape off the grill. He gets up to 250, as much as 260 degrees, and just before the pit stop, he was down to 230. Johnson's away, and right behind him his teammate, Jerry Nadeau.
We're going to see a bunch of cars. They're all coming to the bottom of the racetrack. Everybody got to be careful right here.
We see him get run over a lot there. You're going from 190 down to 55 miles an hour on pit road.
And you'll smoke that right front tire. It's about the lightest tire. Oh, yeah, Buckshot had a flat.
Actually, Steve Grissom down the 44 car.
Sorry there, Steve.
With DW, Michael Waltrip said they're going to make a wedge adjustment. He said he's a little bit loose. 4 tires for the number 15. That was Chevrolet of Michael Waltrip. Jeff Kerr, the Jack Man. 4 tires for Michael Waltrip. Let's go to Matt Yoko.
His teammate, Steve, down here in the first pit stall toward turn 1 is Dale Earnhardt Jr. A 4-tire change. No adjustment. The car as he drops the jack. 14.7 seconds.
Now all the way to turn 3 and 4. These cars will be so much slower than the cars still running on the racetrack because it takes so long to get up to full speed here.
And one of the things you got to be really careful of as a driver is taking off out of the pits. These cars got really high gear ratios in them. You can throw the drive shaft out. You can break a transmission. Really got to get the tires spinning. That's when it's the best.
Now the pack in turn 1. Earnhardt Jr. just coming out of 2 onto the backstretch, and that pack should catch him before he gets up to full speed. Dick Berggren?
Kurt Busch is in. He's pretty much all by himself in the area where he is. We are seeing people take 4 tires. The reason for taking 4 tires at this point is they have run so far that they pretty much run the cars out of gas. He'll take long enough to put the gas in. Might as well put 4 tires in it. To Matt.
And Dick, Johnny Benson is in. A 4-tire change as well. No adjustments. They pack that fuel cell full of fuel, and he's down and away.
The pack caught Dale Earnhardt Jr. but did not pass him. As now they work past those cars that have just come off pit road. Look at the speed differential. It's immense.
This would change the complexion of the race. These pit stops under green changes everything, Dick.
Well, the crew has been urging Robbie Gordon to come in. They wanted him to come in just a little bit before this. Gordon's car is so good, he just stayed on the racetrack. You know, when they feel good, it's hard to get off the speedway. He, like everybody else, is going to take 4 tires. A few moments ago, he called in and said the car was a little bit tight. He's been very quiet on the radio. That's the only comment he has made. There goes Robbie Gordon.
Matt Kenseth has led a lap. Our number 2 point man picks up 5 bonus points, as did Sterling Marlin. Here we go, right at it again, 3 wide.
And one of the things that Sterling hadn't capitalized on this year is bonus points. Matt Kenseth and others have gotten a whole lot more bonus points by leading laps or leading a lap, and Sterling hadn't taken advantage of that every race.
This pack right here, they've been back out there now for 2 laps, and they're gaining a lot on Sterling Marlin, that group that just came off pit road.
You think merging onto the highway when they're doing 70 is tough? Try it at 2.5 times that speed.
Yeah, with somebody breathing down your back. Spotters hollering at you, crew chiefs hollering at you. You got people all around you. You got your hand up in the air. Brakes don't work too good because they're cold. God, it's tough being a driver. I like it a lot better up here.
4 wide. Matt Kenseth continues to lead. He has not yet made a pit stop. That Jack Roush gas mileage as Kenseth stretches the fuel window here.
Yeah, I mean, he's okay right now because he's out there in a pack and he's running comparable lap times. But the problem will be if he pits by himself and don't get back with a pack, he's going to be running a 1.5 to 2 seconds slower because he's going to have no one to run with, to draft with.
And we saw that happen yesterday. I think that probably cost Stacy Compton that race yesterday. He stayed out 1 lap too long under green.
When he came back out on the racetrack, all he could do was catch Jason Keller. He couldn't pass him. Jason Keller, the winner of yesterday's Busch Series race. Kenseth has his hand in the air. He's waving. He is going to pit.
And not only that, now he's got to come down out of that traffic. So he's got to be really cautious, slow down even a little earlier than maybe he would if it was wide open behind him.
And what's good, he'll be on pit road by himself. No chance of getting blocked in his pits or getting into an accident with someone. But when he pits and comes back out there, he has to make sure he's with a pack.
The other disadvantage to pitting by yourself is every NASCAR official with the stopwatch will be clocking just him coming down pit road.
And that's how they clock pit road speed, is with a stopwatch through seconds.
4 wide all the way around turns 1 and 2.
Boy, that was close. And Hut Strickland squeezed right in front of Mike Wallace there to get back in line.
Strickland has been driving like a man possessed today. There's Jeffrey Bodine. Look at the big donut on the side of his car.
Looked like something from Martinsville last week. They're putting donuts on each other at 190 miles an hour.
These cars they'll be beat up just like they've been running on a short track.
All right, Matt Kenseth, he's just going into turn 1 right now. The pack's coming through the trial. Well, it's going to be tough for him to get with that pack, but maybe he can get with the second pack. He's in the middle of 1 and 2. Leaders just now getting into turn 1.
Merge ahead. About the middle of the backstretch.
I mean, Darrell, right now, he's pushing that throttle pedal, just bending the floor pan.
And turning that engine out of the frame. Say, come on, baby, go.
Now, once you get to the backstretch, you're allowed to pull up into a lane.
Yeah, he's okay. He's going to fall in this group here somewhere. There's enough of them. If there was only 3 or 4, they'd go by him and leave him. But there's enough of them, he'll be able to blend in.
About that late pit stop by Kenseth, Steve Burns.
Yeah, Mike, pretty good strategy. Remember, these guys are racing for the championship. He wanted those 5 bonus points to lead a lap. That's why they stayed out an extra lap or 2.
The first 5 are going to get past him, but he's going to fall in line in 7th place. So not a bad move.
No, good little hole right there. There's enough cars in that pack.
I still don't think he's up to speed totally. Sterling Marlin, that group right there, the 40 car, they're pulling him to the inside. He's still not quite ready to get in line, I don't think.
Larry, let's check that gap. First to 20th was 2 seconds before pit stops. Now it's just 2.1. But first to about 38th was 4 seconds. Now it's 10. And first to 40th is 48 seconds.
And the only strategy was just getting the 5 points, because you have to run 63 laps to be able to do this on 2 stops. Don't look like anybody can do that.
After pit stops, looks a little bit like it did before. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out in front.
Dale Earnhardt Sr. won back-to-back Talladega races 3 different times. Top 30 cars within 3 seconds of each other, Jeff Hammond, as we observe some of the strategy at this point. 61 laps in, a guy like Kenseth staying out, Jimmy Johnson, the pole sitter, hitting early. What does that indicate as to what we'll see the rest of the way?
I think there's a lot of guys right now trying to find that combination who they can run with. Jimmy Johnson had fallen back early on, hunted around, didn't find what he wanted, came to pit road early. Now he's right back up to 9th and back in contention. So I think a lot of these crew chiefs are trying to find if they can come to the pit road with certain guys and be able to make their way back up through the pack and be effective by the end of the day.
Speaking of the pack, as we look at the back of the pack, and people know about Saturday's Busch race, 27 cars involved in the big one. Last year it was caution-free here. What would indicate here as to someone sitting back there if we might have more problems?
Well, right now, I think early on, we've seen a lot of patience. I don't think guys are really getting too excited. They're willing to fall in a single line and work their way back and forth. We've already seen, we've had 43 cars pressed between only 3 seconds of the lead early on. So I think everybody knows what the cars are capable of, and they're showing a lot of patience right now. Later on, that may go away.
And there have only been 2 caution-free races run here at Talladega. 6 leaders, 8 lead changes. Let's go back upstairs to Mike Joy, Darrell Waltrip, and Larry McReynolds.
Caution-free here at Talladega through 63 laps. Let's have a look at our 7-Eleven pit summary, where they came in, where they went out.
Jeremy Mayfield, that 19 group, they did a good job. Jeremy and the crew going from 8th to 2nd. Elliott Sadler as well, 18th to 4th, and Tony Stewart. That group, they do it every week on pit road. And we want to look at this right here between Earnhardt Jr., Waltrip, and Mayfield. This group right here, Earnhardt Jr., good pit stop, good lap time. The lap time is the 2 laps, including the stop. But I think what helped Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's at the very last pit box, leaving pit road. He could come down pit road, focus on his pit box. When he went to leave, he did not have to worry about speed, just get up to speed. This is the very, very last pit leaving pit road. He only had to travel just a short distance right there, worrying about pit road speed. Didn't have to worry about speed and leaving.
The big loser on pit road was Jeff Gordon, who fell to 27th. He has since climbed back up the order to 16th. Here's Matt.
Mike, I spoke to Robbie Loomis, Jeff Gordon's crew chief, and said, you guys dropped back. Did you have any trouble on your pit stop? They said, no, it wasn't a bad stop. It just wasn't a 14 and change like Dale Earnhardt Jr. It was a 16 flat. No adjustments. I did say, how many sticks of gum are you on now? 3? He said, no, I'm on number 2, but I'm pulling out number 3 soon. So you can see it's very nervous down here for the crew chiefs as well.
There's Jeff Gordon's progress through the day. Earnhardt Jr., Michael Waltrip, teammates, nose to tail. Jeremy Mayfield and Elliott Sadler, who took a provisional, is right up there in the top 5.
Yeah, that's a lap car. That 33 car just going a lap down, and that usually bottlenecks everything up.
But just remember, Elliott Sadler, this is the car, too. He finished second in the Daytona 500. We saw the sign, Get Well Jack. Jack Rouse supplies the motors for this 21 car, the Wood Brothers.
Mike Wallace now going a lap down along with teammate Bobby Hamilton. Here's Dick Bergman.
Johnson won the pole in car number 48. He has been troubled with overheating all day long. On the last pit stop, they pulled some tape off the grill. That lets more air get through the radiator. It dropped the air temperature, or dropped the water temperature 10 degrees. They've told him to go ahead and turn the fan on. That should drop it a little bit more. Randy Norton, who builds the engines for those cars, said he can run at about 250 for a while without hurting the engine, so long as he doesn't pump the water out. They're very cautiously optimistic about Jimmy Johnson's car. Steve Burns.
Well, Dick, not good news in the 14 pits of Stacy Compton. He came down here with a car they had never tested, never taken to the wind tunnel, yet he qualified 6th. Well, he is now very far behind the field. They think he has a broken valve spring on the number 14 of Stacy Compton.
And to update Frank Kimmel, after that broken shock absorber problem, he has returned to the race.
2 things on Jimmy Johnson's car. When you start pulling tape off, Larry, as you know, you're going to open that front end up. That's going to slow you down, so he's not going to be able to run back up there and lead this race like he did at the get-go. And the other thing is, these cars have electric fans. They don't have a mechanical fan like you have on your passenger car, like you used to have on your passenger car. They got an on and off switch for the fan, and normally at speed you don't need to run the fan, but if you're having a heating problem, it's helpful.
You know, I'm a little surprised, though, that the Stacy Compton group, the 14 group, is having a valve spring problem. Normally, that's caused from excessive RPMs. Now, I want to just show you where the valve spring is. There's 16 of them. You have one on intake, one on exhaust. There's the valve springs right there. And normally, it's a product, when you break one, of excessive RPMs, only turning about 7,000 here. I'm a little surprised at that.
More than likely, Larry, that happened leaving the pits. More than likely, he over-revved the motor leaving the pits.
And it's exactly, I would say, what has happened. You have 2 valve springs. You have an inner and an outer. And I would say if you're going to tear or break a valve spring, it would be leaving pit road. Ironic, it happens right after a pit stop.
Exactly.
Our top 20 after pit stops was 2 seconds apart. They're now just 1.2 seconds apart. The pack is closing up into a wad again. Here's Steve Burns.
Yeah, Mike, I'm curious. I want to ask Darrell and Larry about this. Stacy Compton actually stalled his car when he was leaving his pits on that pit stop on lap 51. Wonder if that could have broken that valve spring then.
Well, what it does, Steve, is you crank it back up. You rev the thing because it won't go. It stumbles, and when it does take off, the engine revs up real high before you can do anything with it. So, yeah, I'd say that had a lot to do with it.
And I mean, they pull such a high gear, you know, 300s, 307, where it was at 6-something last week at Martinsville. It's hard to get it going. You'll stall it out sometimes leaving the pits.
Yeah, when it stalls and everybody's hollering at you and you got to hurry up and, you know, you rev it up.
Whoa, Jarrett.
Hell, Jarrett, that 88 car, almost sideways.
Tried to slip under Tony Stewart and get him back in line. He might have got a little pop from Matt Kenseth.
I think he did.
One outside. Nice job. One outside. 2 outside. Got Robbie in the middle. 2 outside.
Well, you see what he does, too, don't you? So I got to catch my breath. That scared me.
Dale Jarrett starting back in 41st. He had worked his way almost to the top 10 or 12, and he's fallen back now to about 19th.
Jeff Hammond.
Guys, I was wondering, watching the 88 car, I wonder if he thought he was getting ready to run out of bounds, guys, and jerked that car back up on the racetrack, not realizing that Matt had already started making a move on him and almost got himself in trouble.
Well, let's see.
I think Kenseth is just right up on his back bumper. He started to make a run on Tony. He saw he couldn't do it, and he had to pull back up, and Matt tapped him.
Darrell, when you shake that car sideways and lose your forward bite, the effect, there it is right there, is the effect to the car behind you as if you'd hit your brake.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't anticipate something like that. That's why, see, he whoops out. Then all of a sudden he says, I can't make it. A lot like what Jeff said, the yellow line's there. When he tried to get back in line, Kenseth had a run on him.
Where he was at was not going to work getting into turn 3.
No, and that's why they instituted the yellow line out of bounds. They don't want you going in that corner 3 and 4 wide.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., our leader. Here's Matt.
Mike, a few moments ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. came on the radio and told his team to tell Michael's team that he cannot run the same line as Michael. Michael likes to run down the bottom near the yellow line. Dale Jr. says his car gets a little tight trying to run that lane, so to ask Michael to move up half a lane or so.
Thanks, Matt. 2 of the top 3 finishers in the Daytona 500 are tailing the field. One is 500 winner Ward Burton. The other, third-place finisher Jeffrey Bodine.
Hey, Larry. I mean, all those years of racing, wouldn't it have been nice to have someone to call on the radio and say, will you tell him to follow me where I want to go and stop going where he wants to go, and he's my teammate, and tell him to help me.
But, you know, I think what will happen, you know, they will move around and see if their car works as good maybe where their teammate's working. No disadvantage if it will do that.
I always call on the radio and say, you tell so-and-so to stay behind me, and they say, yeah, watch this.
2 wide.
Bill Elliott's often said, among many drivers have often said, I want to be out front, or I want to be way out back. Maybe that's why and where Ward Burton is.
The eye of the storm is brewing.
Still 3 wide through the corner, 3 wide.
Well, I know we talk about a lot of people being important, the driver, the crew chief, but that spotter on top of that grandstand, he's his eyes, he's his arms, he's his legs, he's his ears. He's got the most important job.
20 cars are only 1.1 seconds apart. 5 laps so far, caution free. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his teammate are leading. And a few minutes ago, Dale Jarrett had quite a moment here at Talladega.
He had a moment.
Looks like to be big. M4, nice save, 1 outside. Nice job.
He sounded a lot calmer than we did watching it, Darrell.
Well, once you've saved it and you're still going, yeah, you know, you got to get that out of your mind and think about what to keep going.
But I like his spotter, Roman Pemberton. He was like, okay, nice save, but they're outside. They're, you know, right back to business.
Yeah, nice
Don't
save,
have time to dwell on it.
Yeah, go, man.
Yeah, tell me about it later.
We'll talk about it this afternoon.
The plus to that is you saved it and you didn't wreck. Now get going.
You know, guys, we're almost 80 laps into this race, approaching halfway. 43 cars still out on the racetrack, and of those 43, 39 of them are running within 4 seconds of each other. And that's through a green flag set of pit stops.
My question about Ward Burton, there does not seem to be anything wrong with his car. He's just kind of hanging out as the caboose there, Steve.
Yeah, just went down to check on Ward Burton. And, you know, earlier I said he was having a hard time this morning making himself comfortable in the race car, which DW talks about a lot. Well, right now he cannot find a comfortable place to run. He's searching, trying to find a place, any place on the racetrack, a lane where he feels like he can compete. Right now he doesn't feel comfortable.
Now, Tony Stewart was up amongst the leaders and for a while drafting right off of Dale Earnhardt Jr. He has dropped back to 31st.
Well, I think every driver has a thought process that he goes through here. And every driver has a point in a race where he thinks it's time for him to take a breather. It's time for him to drop back there, views this thing from the back, and see if something's getting ready to unfold. Because there's points in the race where it's more apt to than not.
You see by the Fox tracks, Tony Stewart back there, I mean, he's losing ground fast to Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's leading this race right now. You know, also what you find out back there, Darrell, you find out, you know, where your car's maneuverable. You know, is it better up high in traffic, better down low? I mean, still don't want to see you back there, but you're getting an education about your race car.
Well, yeah, you might, you know, get back there, we can move around a little bit. When you're 3 wide all the time, I mean, you know, you're pretty well dictated to the line you're going to run by who's doing what. At least you get back there and you try it. Like you say, move around, try your car in some different places.
And Tony's had a tough week here in Alabama. He was interviewed by a British writer who perhaps took Tony's comments out of context, saying that the fans here were obnoxious. He says he meant they were boisterous. They have a great time here. And he had a cute T-shirt on and driver introductions saying obnoxious Talladega driver.
3 wide outside, no help.
He can take the joke as well as dish it out.
3 wide outside. Exit 2 wide outside. 2 wide outside.
I know as a crew chief, I pretty much left the radio waves for the spotter. He could do that driver a whole lot more good than I could.
I came here, Bobby Allison and I had a run-in somewhere back in the 70s, 80s, early 80s. I came down here and I didn't know about Roll Tide. I just saw boxes of Tide with rolls of toilet paper on people's antenna, and I was nervous wreck. I didn't know whether to come inside the racetrack or not. So I kind of know how Tony feels.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Greg Zipadelli is Tony Stewart's crew chief. It's also his 35th birthday. Greg, why are you guys running in the back today?
Tony was getting a little impatient there. Nobody was helping us when we got up front there after the pit stop, so we're just going to go to the back. No sense getting frustrated this early in the day. We got a lot of racing left. We got a really good race car. We'll just we got one more stop to go, and then we'll race hard the last stop.
Okay, happy birthday.
Starting to look like the Tour de France. Sometimes you want to lead, sometimes you want to ride.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. Calm down. The driver and the crew chief and the spotter both. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Fall back. Get your composure, and then we'll get them later on. Because if that driver is giving a lot of static across the radio about how people are driving, the best thing he can do is get out of there.
Well, we now have everybody nicely linked up. 2 Chevrolets, followed by 2 Dodges, followed by 3 Fords, followed by 2 Chevrolets. Isn't this nice? Everybody's found a partner.
for the time being. And, you know, I think Greg Zipadelli makes a good point. They know they have at least one more green flag stop. They're going to actually have 2 should we stay green all the way. So that's going to mix things up. So, again, you're learning about your car. You know you have more green flag stops to come.
Now, on the outside, Kevin Harvick. Now, talk about being misquoted. It was reported last week that during the Craftsman Truck Series race, he had said he was going to dump Coy Gibbs. In a press conference yesterday, Harvick denied making such a statement, said it was made by someone on another team, but it was attributed to him. Says he did not say that he was going to dump Coy Gibbs. The 2 of them did get together and crash, however. And Harvick said he has learned a lot about himself and learned how he is part of a much bigger picture in NASCAR and will act accordingly from here on out.
Darrell, did you see right there Kevin Harvick in the 29, how he moved against the 99 car and then he shot away? That like gives you a little push away from him when you get up against him and then go away.
Oh, you'll play with the air. I mean, there's air. I keep saying about turbulence. There's air all around these cars, and you want to know if the buff off of one of the other cars, when it buffers off of it, where your car's going to go. You're making notes. You're making mental notes. This whole race, all geared up for that last 5 or 10 laps of this show.
The 98 car we're not used to seeing, that is Kenny Wallace in a 1-race ride for Michael Waltrip Racing.
Whoa! Ryan Newman got into the back. Look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. with his hand out the window.
Yeah, and you see what happened. The 12 lost his momentum, and look at all these cars going by him.
Flashback. 1 year ago, the Daytona 500. Kurt Busch going through the tri-oval, bangs into Dale Earnhardt Sr. Earnhardt put his arm out the window at 190 miles an hour to give Kurt Busch a wave. And I said it was like the lamb taking on the lion. And it was. Like father, like son.
Apples don't grow far from a tree, boys.
I tell you, to go through what Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car just went through there in the Budweiser car, I mean, he didn't lose much momentum. He has got a fast horse today.
Oh, yes, he does.
He and Michael Waltrip. Let's see, is there a big donut there?
I believe there was a little donut, a little tire rubbing there. Yeah, right there behind the left front tire.
Gets down under him here, and the car just shoves up. That's a product of it. That dreaded what, Larry? The dreaded what?
Aero push.
Oh, thank you for saying it.
But when he dragged his car, and maybe he didn't necessarily get into Dale Earnhardt Jr., but as he dragged across the back, it pulls Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car around, makes it loose.
Great save, I got to say. That's 2 good saves. 2 good saves. You know, the third one, I hope we don't have any strikes there, any more strikes.
Aerodynamic push. When the car doesn't get enough air going over the hood, loses its front downforce, and it doesn't want to turn.
Well, it's a product of being in traffic as well. Your car loses the front downforce when you're behind another car.
Well, Newman, I think that really upset his composure some, because he's getting pushed around now.
His spotter, Hall of Famer Buddy Baker.
Well, I know what Baker would be doing right now. He'd be shaking his fist at somebody.
85 caution-free laps at the fastest speedway on earth. Michael Waltrip leads at Talladega. Pre-race show when Kevin Harvick said, "I'm back." He certainly is. He stormed up to 3rd place. and then he got freight trained on both sides. He's stuck in the middle.
Getting a little tight right through here, guys. Getting a little tight.
Getting 4 wide as they come through the tri-oval.
That's not a good thing. What that does is all those cars 4 wide like that lets everybody behind them just close up so quickly. The closing rate there is pretty fast. You got to be careful.
I mean, Darrell, I don't think we can stress enough why 4 wide. I mean, the racetrack is plenty wide enough, but it's just, you talked about it earlier, these cars buffeting and bouncing around. One little move the wrong way, you take 3/4 the field out.
Well, when you're 4 wide, when you're 3 wide, there's very little margin for error. When you're 4 wide, there is no margin for error, and that's what you got to be careful of.
You know, guys, we got to talk strategy again. I want to know what that car's doing. We're about 10 laps away from pit stops. Jeff Hammond, we know we're going to have to be there like Dick Bergman talked a while ago for 2 cans. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you 4 tires this time, but since we're going to be near the end, I'm probably just going to do a little gas and go. And that, you was talking about it when we were at break, that's probably what Matt Kenseth and that group's thinking, running those extra laps.
Yeah, Larry, I really believe they're looking for an advantage, and the best way you're going to beat a lot of these guys, instead of staying there for a can or can and a half on that last stop, is planning on getting just 1 can, get on and off pit road, and try to get away and get it down to where it's a small pack of cars to race with instead of this big gaggle we see behind them. So these next 2 pit stops, especially this one, is going to kind of like set the stage on how everything is going to evolve toward the end of this race, especially if it stays great.
Remember when Jeff Gordon fell back to 27th after that pit stop? No big deal. He is right there fighting for the lead.
Like I said, it's a chess game. Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. The only 2 cars that have consistently been up front is the 8 and the 15. Everybody else has kind of rotated around behind them.
But look at those 2 Roush cars right there. Matt Kenseth in the 17, Mark Martin in the 6. Kenseth fell back to about 15th after falling in line a while ago. Now he's done worked his way along with Jeff Gordon up to 3rd.
And Earnhardt Jr. has to work with Ryan Newman and Sterling Marlin on the outside to try to get back to the front.
But he can do it. Now, there's that car. He went around the 6 car on the outside and is pulling himself right on back up by Kenseth. That car gets a whale of a run, guys.
10 laps ago, he was shaking his fist at Ryan Newman. Now he's waving, stay behind him.
Come on, buddy. Let's go.
Let's listen in on Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Cars here last couple races. I think I need to drink better, more water. But it has a lot to do with these uniforms. They're a little bit hotter, and this motor thing tell me it is a little bit warmer too. But it ain't so bad. I can't stand it. I don't know what y'all think about fall out to sea.
One thing he needs to realize is the last 2 races, Martinsville and today, it's been about 90 degrees.
Right.
So if it's hot now, bud, it's really going to get hot here come July.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely into the first hot races that they've had all year long.
And the other thing is these cars are so slick nowadays, and the crew chiefs don't want any air, any nacoducts in the side to slow you down. So there's not a lot of air inside the car other than your helmet cooler that you run to keep your head cool.
And Darrell, he talked about his fire suit. They make different layer fire suits. The more layers, yeah, the more protection you have, but the hotter it's going to be.
Well, these suckers, they make a lot of heat, and all that comes out right up under your feet and up under your seat.
Robbie Gordon working the low groove.
Too wide outside.
Steve Grissom alongside, Ricky Rudd in tow. Check, that's Bobby Hamilton, who's a lap down.
Steve Grissom in the 44, he's 2 laps down. He actually missed pit road on his green flag stop while ago, but he's here with the lead pack.
Darrell, you theorized that might have been the start of his problem.
I think what happened was he was trying to get on pit road, and he blew out the left front tire. He locked it up. I saw smoke fly, and then he had to go around an extra lap. Tire blew out on the way around.
It's Grissom's first race of the 2002 season.
And that could be the difference of missing pit road. I mean, you had been used to doing this for a year and a half or 2 years.
Michael Waltrip, who led 53 laps here last October, fell out of that race after overheating at 167 of 188 laps.
And looked like he could have won that race very easily. He was sitting there leading the race. All of a sudden, the thing got hot on him. And
Larry picked him, by the way.
Blew up.
Halfway.
Well, I couldn't. I just want Michael to know. He's my brother. Michael, I was going to pick you, but I have to pick after Larry, and he took you first. But we can't both pick you.
This is the car that Michael had at Daytona, and I don't think it was ever talked about what a good car he had there, but he ran over something that came off of his teammate's car, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and put a hole in the nose, and even though he still ran up front, it pretty much kept him, I think, from getting up there to win the race.
He's going to tick off Dale Jr., though, I can tell you that right now, if he drives down there and lets Ryan Newman go by him.
Clear, all clear.
He should have stayed out there and let the 8 car draft off of him.
Hard to get to the high side when Ryan Newman is right there. Now, will Newman with the Ford get any help from those Chevys?
Jeff Gordon just jumped up behind him in the 24 car. Jumped out from behind Michael and got behind Ryan Newman in the 12 car.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Dale Jr. was very unhappy with that move.
Here he comes on the outside. Junior, that is.
Junior's got, I mean, he can go around that outside.
We saw in practice yesterday, Darrell, that car can go anywhere he wants.
He's faster than Newman, but he got to be careful right there, bud. Don't touch him.
He got a run in the middle of turn 1 and 2 right there with the help of Kurt Busch from the 97.
That 8 car really picks up a lot of steam through the middle of the corner up high. And I think what Junior just sent over to his old teammate there, Michael, is
the 15
buddy.
down low doesn't have a whole lot of help. Got the help now. They all left 97. 15 got the 40. That's 24.
It's Ty Norris, Dale Earnhardt Jr. spotter.
And he's a great spotter. He spotted me when I drove the Pennzoil car. And he was so helpful.
24 is at the middle. It's Eric Bear. Got the 97 with him. You're clear. Clear.
Darrell, there's 2 kinds of spotters. There's the calm, reassuring voice like Ty Norris, and then there's the cheerleaders. Which do you prefer?
I like Ty Norris. I like for a guy to, because I'm already revved up enough. I'm doing enough hollering. I don't need a spotter doing it.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in 1 and 2. We talked about it earlier. All the way from the top of the racetrack to the bottom. Got that runoff turn 3, and he's got the help of Jeff Gordon here going after that lead again.
Ryan Newman's got a pretty fast car, though, and I think that was a little message to him right there from Junior. Don't hit me in the back end.
Run on the bottom. Run on the bottom.
Chevy's in the low lane. Ford's in the high lane.
24's got the 15 and 40 on the low line.
I think Junior wanted to shove the 12 up so he'd get these other cars underneath of him.
Big response from the crowd as Earnhardt Jr. goes back to the lead.
Well, that's pretty impressive. That could have been 5 to go just as easy it is with 100 to go.
It'll probably still be like this with 5 to go.
Oh, yeah.
And what these guys have to be doing, the crew chiefs, they have to start making these guys aware. Look, we're in this big pack. We're about 3 to 5, 6 laps away from pit stop. You want to be in the right position to come on the pit road and make that green flag stop.
Well, we want to be back for pit stops, too. You are watching NASCAR on Fox. Laps at Talladega, we're opening the second pit window under the green flag. Jeffrey Bodine has stopped. He is the first to stop, as he was on the prior pit stop sequence. Dale Earnhardt Jr. continues to lead his teammate Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Sterling Marlin, Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, and pole sitter Jimmy Johnson.
Based on the earlier sequence of green flag stops over the next 10 laps, we should see the whole field come to pit road. And again, I think everyone will take 4 tires, fill that thing over fuel to go another 50 or 60 laps within about 15 laps of the end.
And it seems like when Dale Jr. gets out front, he can pull 3 or 4 cars along with him, and they kind of get 3 wide behind him. We've seen this earlier, doing it again. He just got such a fast car that there's only a few guys that can hang with him.
Well, there are leaders and there are followers.
Well, you know where I want to be.
I want to be a leader.
I want to see nothing in my windshield.
But I'm saying when he wants to lead, they don't want to race him. They want to line up and run with him.
If I was a spotter and if I was a crew chief, I'd say stay with that 8 car. Wherever he goes, you go with him.
So he's going to probably be near or at the front when this thing all shakes out.
Frank Kimmel down on the apron was coming out of the pits and coming up to speed. Not a problem there.
It can be. That you know, if you're coming in there 3 wide and there's a car coming out of the pits coming up on the racetrack, man, that can create a real havoc.
Give a call to Hut Strickland. You saw there from Calera, Alabama. He's been driving Bill Davis's Dodge in and around the top 10 all day.
Michael Waltrip, he tried to jump up in front of Matt Kenseth, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. saw what was going on. He jumped up in front of those guys.
And Dale Jarrett, both of the Yates cars, he and Ricky Rudd qualified very poorly, but DJ has raced himself up into 7th place. Had a big near miss earlier. And here's another one. Jeff Gordon, Matt Kenseth, almost touched.
See, that's a product of not being able to see out that right side. He didn't really know he was there, but he never saw him. He felt him. That car went over there. He felt that buffer of air, and he whooped back.
You feel it a lot of times before you see it.
Yes, sir.
Folks, the best way I can describe that is you're going down the highway, you've got the driver's window open, and you crack the passenger's window. The air pressure inside the car changes. You feel that. It's similar to what these drivers feel when a car gets alongside.
Yeah, you can hear and you can feel. Can't always see. And you can see that that's Dale Jarrett, a good shot of him. He's trying to look over to the right a little bit, see who's over on his right side, but there's really not a lot he can see over there. But look what a rough ride he's getting.
And look at the little bear right here. That was given to Dale yesterday by a little girl from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He said, let me have that bear. I can't think of a better passenger I would want with me than this little bear for tomorrow.
He's hiding behind his seat, though. He needs to get up there where you see him.
The bear is brown to the bone, too.
Brown bear.
Pit stops for the leaders imminent. 104 laps complete.
And you know, Darrell, we always talk about it, and I know we both are fans of the full-face helmet, but that's one of the reasons at the Speedway especially that Dale Earnhardt Sr. wanted that open-face helmet. A little better vision.
Yeah, a little better vision, and plus the air blowing in the car through the side windows, through the driver's side there. He said he could feel that.
Matt?
Well, Mike, you were talking about the heat inside the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Remember, he just started wearing a full-face helmet. He, too, used to wear an open-face helmet. Tried it in happy hour last year at Homestead. For the first time at Atlanta. And so he isn't quite used to how hot it can get in that car with that full-face helmet as the 9 car got a little bit in the grass there coming down pit road.
We got out of bounds. How about out of pavement?
But, I mean, that's what happens when you get too many cars coming to pit road at one time. You're trying to get to 55 miles an hour. And remember, they start clocking that speed 75 feet before the entrance of pit road.
Michael just put you see his arm out the window. He's telling those guys behind him, we're coming to pit lane, guys. Don't run over us. Here they come. They're coming off the corner here.
Second group have made their stops and come out.
We see more coming, though. We see it looks like about 15 cars coming to pit road. We'll see about 2 more groups over the next few laps.
And they include the leaders. Earnhardt Jr. all the way down in the far end pit, and Michael Waltrip.
And if there's one place you don't want to get caught speeding on pit road, you do not want to speed on pit road here. It would pretty much end your day.
Steve Burns.
Michael Waltrip says he loves the way the race car is handling. Right side tires are already on. The jack man, Jeff Kerr, slams the jack in. Chris Crumley changes front tires. No adjustments, just 4 tires. Matt Yoakum.
Steve, a 4-tire change for Dale Earnhardt Jr. His car was a tick tight, but no adjustment, and he's down and away.
Beats Dale Jarrett off pit road, along with Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, Rusty Wallace, Jimmy Spencer, Sterling Marlin, and Bobby Labonte.
Now, you heard Dale Jr.'s engine, how it back kind of spit out the pipes when he dropped the clutch. That's the rev limiter. They don't want to turn this motor over about 7,200, I would suspect.
Here comes a lot of the Roush cars right there, 97 and Mark Martin. That group, they're getting a little better fuel mileage than most of the other cars.
Dick Berggren.
Now Kurt Busch is on his way in right now. This is Mark Foles on the front end of the car. He's carrying tires. He's from West Virginia in the back. Aaron Pirat from Lexington, Kentucky. Andy Thurman changing front tires. He's from Louisiana. Kevin Gilman on the back tires. He's from St. Johnsbury, Vermont. The crew assembled from all over America. A good 4 tire change, and he's gone.
Now, can he and Mark Martin get out together and draft back up to speed together? Answer: yeah, they're going to be close.
It's going to be close. The lead pack, they're coming off turn 4, entering down through the trioval right now.
Ricky Craven, Mike Skinner, Brett Bodine, and Dave Blaney all pitted on that lap as well. So Jeff Burton has become the leader with Matt Kenseth behind. Here's Dick.
Jeff Burton's on his way in, and Frank Snyder, the crew chief, has just told him nice and smooth, guys. 4 tires. Mark Armstrong, just before this race began, assembled this entire pit crew behind the War Wagon, and he told them all, he said there are a lot of races to win, but this one is special. We have the car. Let's all pull together and do it. These guys working hard, trying to win a race for their fallen crew, fallen team owner, Jack Roush. Good pit stop to Matty.
Rookie Ryman lost a lot of track position. And it was very simple. On his entry into his pit stall, he had too much brake. He slid almost through his pit. His crew had to back up the car. So it wasn't a slow stop. It's just his entry made his total time on pit road very slow, and it was costly on the racetrack.
And I was was looking down at pit road when they backed him up. It also hurt Jeff Gordon trying to get out of his pit box, lost him a lot of ground as well. You heard Frankie Stoddard, Jeff Burton's crew chief, screaming 39, 39. What he's telling him, 3,900 leaving. That's 55 miles an hour on his tag.
One of the things that it's kind of a technical thing. I'm just going to say this one time. Some of these cars have what we call an open gear in them. It only pulls off the right rear tire. So it's difficult to make a pit stop and get out of the pits because that right rear tire wants to spin. Most of the guys have gone to the same gear we run everywhere else. It's got a ratchet in it where both rear tires will pull as it leaves the pits.
Now, we said Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, he's our leader, almost identical to the situation 50-something laps ago. He's right there kind of at the front of that second pack. Going to be very critical once again for him to get the pit road, get those 4 tires, and get back with that group again.
We often see this with the Jack Roush team. There are the 4 Roush cars, and usually one of them is picked to be the fuel mileage, I won't say rabbit, how about tortoise? The car that's going to stay out the longest. Today, that setup's under Matt Kenseth. He has stretched the fuel mileage on both of the first 2 green flag runs. Watch Steve Hart and Tony Stewart. The yellow car is parked.
Hold the back car. Hold there now.
That wasn't close. That was touching.
Yeah. I just got to say that that's just, you can't see out that right side of the car. The spotter didn't do a real good job for him of telling him somebody was there.
The spotters are high on the press box roof, or near the press box roof, in the tri-oval, in the center of the tri-oval racetrack. There they are. So sometimes the cars are a mile away from the spotters. A lot of them use binoculars.
I mean, I've been on that spotter stand, and where it gets real critical is down that backstretch. You can't take your eyes off that car at all. Matt Yoder.
Larry, when you talk about the spotters, the 24 car has Pepsi colors today. The blue is very close, the same blue used on Jimmy Johnson's Lowe Chevrolet. So spotter Ron Thiel had Robbie Loomis add some neon green tape all over that 24 car because the numbers on the roof are very close to the same color as Johnson's. They added neon tape on the spoiler, the front valence, also on even the pull tabs on the tearaways on the windshield, just so Ron can see that car a little easier as it's on the backstretch.
Yeah, the perspective of these cars coming toward you or going away from you is very difficult to tell when somebody's moving around.
Guys, let's talk about the 17 Matt Kenseth. He's leading the race. We just completed 112. That's the same distance he traveled earlier. It was on 56. But what I don't like, Darrell, he's in the middle of that pack. It's going to be hard to get to pit road. There you see him hunting the bottom of the racetrack. I'd say he'll be on pit road this time.
He will, and he told the 99 team to let him out, let him down on the inside. He's going in.
Big hand wave to alert the drivers behind him.
And he knew he had to lose as little time as possible getting to the bottom because every little bit of time he loses will be critical right there.
But, Larry, by the same token, he's got to slow down earlier to get to the bottom. And look at all these cars that are going by him, where if he had been up there with everybody else, he could have drove 170 mile an hour at the end of pit road.
Right there. That's where pit road starts. Pit road speed limit starts right there. And again, you mentioned it earlier, he's the only one on pit road. All eyes are watching him.
Tear off on the windshield. Long time there on the right front, it appeared.
Kenseth gave up the lead to his teammate, Mark Martin, who is now leading.
The field's halfway down the backstretch right now. They're completing the left side tires. He's gone now. It's going to be real critical. You get up to speed, got to maintain 55 miles an hour. You don't want to get caught speeding and be back with that pack. They're in the middle of 3 and 4 right now.
Yeah, that speed limit's what kills them. It just takes so long to come from the far end of the pit road all the way down through there.
And that pit stop was about 3 seconds too long. We're about to see the effect of that.
Well, he's got to top it. I mean, he's got to take 2 full cans of fuel. So, I mean, he can't just get a half a can of the second, half of the second one and go.
They had a little trouble on the right front, and here comes the 4 o'clock express.
He's in turn 2. This pack's coming, and I mean, they are coming in a hurry. They're coming into turn 2 right now.
But there's enough of them, he'll be able to blend in somewhere.
The last time he did this, 6 cars went by, and he was able to get into line in 7th. Let's see what happens here.
I don't believe there's a hole in 7th right now.
Well, but there's no room for him. He's going to get cars to help him because there's not enough room for all of them to go by at once.
All right, there's his teammate, Mark Martin, right there, the 6th car. If he can get down there, but I believe Mark's just got too much momentum. He's going to have to go by on the high side right there. There's just not a hole to get into like there was earlier.
John Andretti dips underneath because Kenseth is still not up to full speed.
It takes over a lap to get up to speed.
And he pays the price. He pays the price that time. Matt Kenseth crosses the line in 25th position. 114 caution-free laps in the Aaron's $4.99 on Fox, presented by Pepsi. Is out for the first time today at Talladega. Debris in turn 4 has put us under the yellow. All the teams had just made green flag pit stops. They all came right back in again.
I don't think there was any. I think they just wanted a break. I think the drivers all told them on that pit stop, we need a break out here.
3 cars did not stop. Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Spencer, Ryan Newman.
But see these groups right here, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, just topping that tank off the fuel. They'd been out there only about 10 or 11 laps, so no need for tires. Just go ahead and fill that thing with fuel. Why? Because at the end of the race, when you have to make another green flag stop, and I don't think anyone can make it from here, you'll spend less time on pit road in your pit box, less fuel to put in.
I don't think anybody can make it from here, but how good a mileage is that 17 car getting?
And cautions will help.
And he just went from 27th on the last lap we ran under green to 1st because he didn't have to stop.
If I see him, I'd come in and top back up. Perhaps.
So Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. Kenseth and Newman did not yet pit under this caution. Yesterday, top 5 finishers from yesterday's Busch Grand National race brought to you by Old Spice. Jason Keller picked up his 2nd win of the year in search of his first championship. Stacey Compton and Tim Fedewa on the lead lap. Todd Bodine and Casey Mears, a career best for the rookie. 27 cars knocked out in a big crash. Here are the points. Jack Sprague, the leader. Keller just 22 behind. Former champ Randy LaJoy, Kenny Wallace, and rookie Scott Riggs. Here are the Craftsman Truck Series standings brought to you by Sears. Robert Presley up 20 on Ted Musgrave. David Starr, Rick Crawford, and Mike Bliss.
Now with 70 laps to go, 1 to go, we had about 4 or 5 cars that came back to pit road topped off. They were already at the back of the field. John Andretti, Dave Blaney, Tony Stewart, Ward Burton, and Bill Elliott. 35 cars still on the lead lap with 70 laps to go. Jerry Nadeau in the 25s back on the racetrack, had a broken shock mount, run such an aggressive shock package here, it's hard even on those beefy mounts, but he's back out there 8 laps now.
43 cars started, 43 cars running. Far cry from yesterday when we put 27 cars into the garage on a lap 15 crash. You'll see Kenseth on Fox tracks coming up to speed. As remember, the start-finish line is down toward turn 1, not right here in the middle of the tri-oval as it is at Daytona.
Pace car speed 70 miles an hour, bring them down. Pace car is off. That's the start. That's the restart area right there in the center of the tri-oval. Look at it climb already over 100 miles an hour, almost 120 by the time they get to the start-finish line. And it will continue to climb all the way around this racetrack and even then some, Darrell.
Yeah, it'll probably be back to the start-finish line again before he gets to full speed.
And some great news as Matt Kenseth leads this race. His car owner Jack Roush, injured in a plane crash Friday evening, has his condition at University Hospital in Birmingham upgraded from critical to serious. So very good news.
Yes. Very much so. Our prayers are certainly with Jack and his entire family and organization. And here they end the backstretch, 185 miles an hour over turn 3. Falls down a little bit right there, only a couple of miles an hour in the middle of 3 and 4.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. to second and looking for the lead. Kenseth to block, as they say on the squares.
Close the door. Just kind of close the door on it.
Ryan Newman's go from second to about 6th by the time they get to the start-finish line.
Steve Burns.
Mike, with Robbie Reiser. Robbie, you guys seem to be getting great gas mileage. Tell us about your strategy.
Well, we were getting a little bit of gas mileage in there when all the guys pitted. They were around us, kept us in a draft, so I just stayed out there. And, you know, same with the second stop here. When they did that again, I stayed out because they had the cars all around us, so we were running the same speed. So really didn't have nothing to lose except for just, you know, if we couldn't got the caution a little earlier, we'd be on our own lap. So, you know, the Walford's running good. It's just Talladega, you got to draft your way through there, and that's what we're doing.
Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Steve, Matt Borland is Ryan Newman's crew chief. Matt, why did you stay out and not come in and at least top off?
Well, we only had about 9 laps worth of fuel burned off, and we were in the back because of that bad pit stop, so we figured it'd be a lot safer to be out front. We might hurt a couple positions at the end of the race, but no one else can make it to the end anyway, and we figured it'd be safer if a big wreck does happen.
Trying to pull off their first-time win and join 8 other drivers who pulled off that feat, and you can hear by the crowd, someone has retaken the lead.
Now, Now, this is a little different. This time, when Earnhardt Jr. went with Michael Waltrip, Michael could not stay with him at the front.
Kenseth's got a pretty fast car. I mean, he's able to hang right there. You want to know what blocking looks like?
Now, Kenseth has help from his Roush teammate, the Ford of '97, Kurt Busch.
We'll see how strong Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8-car Budweiser car is right here, because he's being ganged up by those Fords right now.
Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 4
Roush cars and Ryan Newman in the middle.
You know what we haven't done today?
Uh-oh.
Crank it up.
20,000 horsepower.
Man, Michael just got back to the 8.
Complete of 188, 65 to go, 35 cars still on the lead lap, and just 3 seconds apart from the first to the 35th. You thought I was going to pull that trivia question on you, didn't you?
Yeah, sure.
Well, as all the spotters are telling their drivers, be patient.
It will be coming. I've been holding my breath all day, but it's after these restarts. They're bunched back up, fresh tires, adjustments. That's when you really hold your breath for a few laps.
And you just heard the crew chief on the 12 say, even this far into the race, they're still anticipating the big one.
4 wide.
And it won't be too long now, Larry, until some of these guys have been kind of cooling it at the back, like Tony Stewart and a few of them. They're going to start trying to get up near the front. As you can see, things have picked up near the front.
Mikey, he's flirting with that out-of-bounds line down there, down the backstretch. 4 wide going into turn 3.
Business is picking up, boys. Business is picking up.
He had to fall back in behind Kurt Busch. It's wide enough, but it won't work getting into turn 3.
And you get so frustrated because Mike knows he's got a fast car, but look where he is. How about it, Dick?
Well, Kurt Busch is also frustrated. I'm listening to him on the radio, and he is very annoyed that people don't want to seem to run with him. Jimmy Fennig just came on the radio and said, Kurt, you've got no friends out there, and you can hear it in their voices. They desperately want partners, but they're not getting them this afternoon.
And listen, guys, it's not like you can orchestrate these things. You can't set things up. You go with the guys that's with you, whoever's around you. Well, that's your partner at the time, because it's going to change.
I mean, 10 years ago, 8 or 9 cars in the lead draft, you could do it. Look at this pack out here. How do you orchestrate a partner or a friend?
I wouldn't even want to be looking for somebody to run with.
But also, Darrell, this is only Kurt Busch's 3rd restrictor plate race ever. Is this where that experience comes in? Is you want to go with the people you know?
I think so, because they don't, the kid, he doesn't have enough experience to know what to do all the time. Might know what to do to get to the front, but does he know what to do all the time? No disrespect to him. He's a great talent. We see him win races. But this is chess at its highest level.
And now, a rookie leads this race. 8 drivers have scored their first victory here. 3 drivers have won here in their first ever Talladega start.
And of those 8, 6, this was the only race they won, was their first race here.
And the thing that's really interesting and show you how things are changing, the 8 and the 15 have dominated this race.
But Richard Brickhouse won his first ever start here. So did Donnie Allison. So did Pete Hamilton. And they're the drivers who won here. And those 6 with the bullets was their lone Winston Cup victory. What'll happen today? 126 complete at Talladega. Mark Martin's Ford leads the Chevys of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kenny Wallace. The Ford of Ryan Newman. Jeff Gordon's Chevrolet, and 6 Fords behind them. But not further back, Michael Waltrip, along with Kurt Busch, Busch and Robbie Gordon have been playing 190-mile-an-hour croquet as Earnhardt Jr. takes the lead.
Can you spell composure? Because the guy in that blue car right there is just about to lose his.
That would be the blue 15.
I was going to say which one.
I can. You can. I mean, he's not doing his car any favor. He's beating up the sides.
He's beating his car all up, and he's just falling back, and I think the frustration is setting in. This is when you've been out there on the racetrack for the last 2.5 hours. You've been up front all day long, and now you find yourself falling back in the clutches of all these other cars. Now's when you got to think. Now's when you got to figure out, how am I going to get back to the front? Because you know he's got a fast enough car to do it.
Darrell, have you ever seen where maybe after a caution, sometimes a driver will somewhat lose his focus a little bit after running 100-something laps without a caution, and you have a caution, things change?
I have, Larry. It's happened to me. I've always, thought, well, gosh, we've done so well, I think I'll take a little breather here, and you see what happens.
Michael Waltrip has fallen back to 26th.
And he and Dale Jr. have led this race from the get-go up until this caution flag came out.
Now it's Jr. and Michael Waltrip's other car, the one driven by Kenny Wallace, on a one-race wonder kind of ride.
Now, if Michael was talking right now, he'd tell you that's a dream right there.
Now,
a dream machine.
Here's a fellow looking for his first Winston Cup win on a track that has rewarded 8 first-time winners.
And I believe Kenny Wallace could have won this race last year, or 2 years ago now, but he helped Dale Earnhardt win the race. He stayed with Dale. He came in second, but he helped Dale win the race.
And Michael Waltrip's Busch crew is looking after this car and doing the pit stops on pit road for it.
Kenny said he helped Earnhardt win that race. Him get all the way from the back to the front.
It was the race where he did that system. Started 17th and then 5 laps was leading the race, and Kenny helped him all the way to the front.
Up through the middle.
Right through the middle.
55 laps to go. Here's our Subway race summary. 9 leaders, 24 lead changes. 186 miles an hour, the average green flag lap. Still 35 cars on the lead lap. None in the garage, and only 1 caution, that for debris. It lasted 4 laps.
Well, I still think at the end of the day, and certainly this is no great prediction, but that 8 car is the guy you got to beat. I mean, he's gotten out, he's fallen back a couple of times, but he can get back up. He takes that high line, goes around him on the outside. His car is so fast through the middle of the corner.
He's shown strength the entire day.
Ryan Newman, after such an impressive ride, get off the pace.
Yeah, he's losing ground fast. If it is an engine problem, this will be 3 weeks in a row that team has suffered engine problems caused by a busted radiator last week at Martinsville.
Yeah, he's definitely falling back there. He's got the cylinder down.
Still down on cylinder.
Kyle Petty battling along in the bottom lane. Started in the 6th row today.
This is when people surprise you. Just like Michael, and just like he's surprised how good everybody's running, because everybody's getting everything out of their car now they can. They're not holding anything back. They know they got to make one more stop. They're going to get all out of these babies they can. Now's the time to show.
Talked about Kyle. He's in 8th place. We're riding with Jeff Gordon, who's 10th. Matt, what's the story on Newman?
Matt Borland jumped off the box and said he's down on his cylinder. They're talking to the engine specialist, the engine tuner on this team right now. And they're also going to get back and talk to Ryan, but right now it does not look good for Ryan Newman.
He's battled up toward the front all day and now fallen to the tail end of the line, but still on the lead lap. Jeff?
Mike, one guy we don't want to overlook here is Elliott Sadler. Runs second to Daytona 500. Started way back today. Has now worked himself up to 3rd place and looking pretty strong again.
His best finish here in 5 races, 17th in the year 2000. 135 laps complete. 53 to go. World's fastest speedway. 3 NASCAR restricted plate races. That's Daytona and Talladega. And Kenny Wallace, who had one of his 3 career 2nd place finishes here, is in 2nd place. Elliott Sadler, the Daytona 500 runner-up, is 3rd. Kurt Busch, Jeff Burton, the top 5.
Sterling Marlin in that 40 car dipping down to the low side, seeing if anybody come with him. Right now, he's pretty much down there by himself. Look at the interval on the Fox track, losing a lot of ground.
Yeah.
There's help coming, but it's a long way back there. I mean, it's already getting close to the second back.
That's what they told General Custer.
Yeah. That ain't help. That's relief. He's got a little relief when he gets back.
Let's just watch the Fox tracks, though. Once this group gets to him, let's see if the interval starts to shrink. It's up to 1.2 seconds.
But see, he's a set and duck, Larry, so, cars are going by him left and right.
He lost his momentum. Yeah, they're splitting him right now. He's caught in the middle. A little bit of help from Bobby Labonte coming, but...
Whoa, boys. Easy now.
That wasn't the kind of help you need.
These cars, maybe they're not as big as they look. Maybe when you're out there, they're not as big as they look from up here. They just fit in places.
Michael Waltrip's finally gone up to the high side, but Robbie Gordon and Ricky Craven touch.
Boy, Michael and Robbie Gordon, I don't know if they're working together or against each other. I haven't made up my mind yet.
I was saying, but you don't have to work against me. You don't have to work with me, just don't work against me.
That's right.
Well, fellas, guess what else we haven't done today?
Cranked it up, so this must be it.
Radio Shack Trivia. We talked about the 3 drivers, Richard Brickhouse, Pete Hamilton, Donnie Allison, who won here in their first start, but who started the most Talladega Winston Cup races before getting his first win here?
Terry Labonte. And that's a guess. I'm out.
All right, let's go to the Hollywood Hotel.
They got the books. They've been looking it up.
No notes. No, it's Sterling Marlin here. This is just research from the week ahead. That's all.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Can't believe it.
How about that? Chris Myers is right on the money, guys.
It's an upset. What's happening in this world?
I'm impressed.
How about this, guys? Look where Dale Jr.'s got this bunch running now. He lists leads on wherever he wants them to go. He's got them all running right out next to the wall.
He's the Pied Piper of Talladega right now.
He said, let's all run up here a while. So they say, yep, Kenny Wallace is doing exactly what I'd do. I'd follow the 8 car. If he went in the garage, I'd go in the garage with him.
That's a little too high for him. I don't know if it's because his car won't run or what the deal is up there, but that's a little bit too high.
All right, that's Ty North, Dale Earnhardt Jr. spotter, telling Dale Earnhardt Jr. Kenny Wallace's car, the 98, don't want to run that high. It don't drive good. Never see Ryan Newman in the 12 car going to the garage. In the last 3 races, he has went from 2nd to 17th in points with these engine failures.
He'll go deep in points today. He is the first car out of the race. He's led three races.
That's the way we used to run this joint here now. The way they're running it now is the way we used to run it. Of course, we was running a lot faster. We'd be running 195 mile an hour, and you had to go all the way up there just to keep. You watched the car up there, but these guys are driving them up there today.
Pretty much the top 15 cars are single file. They're running that high line still.
I'm sure Dale Jr. thinks this is, knowing him the way I do, he said, this is really cool. No matter where I go, they all go with me.
It's a great problem to have.
Oh, yes, it is. And as you can see, it's getting everybody kind of single file. Everybody's trying to get up there.
We've only had 1 caution flag, and that for debris. No contact to cause a caution. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been in front for the majority of this race, but there are still 45 laps to go in Talladega.
They're in the lead.
You got to be kidding me, Chris. Here at Talladega, especially at this point in the race, there is no such thing as friends. You're going to do what you have to do to stay out front and use whoever you can use.
And one more pit stop involved in strategy. You're guessing, depending upon the driver, within about 18, 15 miles to go, 15 laps, we should say, in that range.
I'm really looking right now for guys that start coming in between lap 170 and 175. Probably going to be 1 can of gas and who can get off pit road. The guys might be the ones got to watch.
Kevin Harvick up to 9th, Jeff Gordon 8th, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. your leader. Let's go back upstairs to Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Schmidt.
Larry, the gas mileage you're getting could be the key to victory here as to how long you're going to need to make that last stop.
I mean, yeah, there's some teams going to need to be there about 7 or 8 seconds. Matt Kenseth may only need to be there about 4 or 5 seconds. Now, in 7 or 8 seconds, they can almost change 2 tires, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to take a chance of a lug nut falling off or anything. I just want you there just long enough to get enough fuel in that thing to finish.
I just got to say this, guys. I can't believe what Dale Earnhardt Jr. is doing to this field. Now, we race around the bottom of this racetrack. We have forever. He decided he wanted to run up in the high, up against the wall, in the high groove. Everybody followed him up there. Matt.
Well, DW, interesting enough, Kenny Wallace came on the radio and said to his team, please tell Dale Jr. my car is not as comfortable up high as it is down low. Would he mind going back down low? So Ty Norris passed it on to Dale Jr. Jr. said, well, my car feels pretty good here, and I think I'm going to run here. He can run wherever he wants to.
Yeah, well, it could be any number of things. I tell you what I'd tell Kenny Wallace. If it was comfortable, I'd be out there driving it. You know, you run where you got to run, and right now you stay with that 8 car. Running a high line is going to save his tires a little bit, but I don't really think that's the issue. He just happens to have a car that runs nice and fast up around the high side. Steve.
Guys, we just heard Pat Tryson, the crew chief on the 21, talking to Elliott Sadler. They pitted on lap 116, took gas only. They're going to pit in about 20 laps, and their strategy, what they're thinking about now is, again, no tires in just 1 can of gas.
The Wood brothers have won here 5 times with a 21 car. Donnie Allison, we talked about, in 71, 3 times with the Silver Fox, the great David Pearson, and their last victory here in 1980 with the Alabama Gang's Neil Bonnet.
Look down on the inside, guys. There's 4 cars. He's grouping up a little group down there. He's going to try to come to the front. And we got a problem with Kenseth's car, I think.
He's back in 15th position.
Watch the hood on this car.
Oh, yeah. See, that's that turbulence and the wind buffing around on it. The bolt has come out. There's a bolt right there, and it's come out of the hood.
Steve?
Yeah, Mike, we've heard Sterling Marlin talking to his crew chief Lee McCall and Tony Glover, and he's been screaming, saying, get NASCAR to talk to the 17. That hood's going to come flying off, and he's been saying it for the last 5 laps.
Well, the good thing, Steve, is it's the hinge at the back of the hood and not one of the pins at the front of the hood that's gone.
And as long as the vibration don't shake the pins out, but normally for the race, the teams actually tape the hood pins in, so it still has 4 hood pins plus the bolt on the right side.
The pressure, the air pressure will hold it down. You'll see it buff up every now and then. That's just because a little wind will get under the hood.
But at these speeds, Darrell, you almost feel that has to be affecting that race car aerodynamic.
It would hurt the performance. It'd hurt the engine and everything.
Larry, one other thing you didn't mention that a minute ago is NASCAR's also got what they call hood tethers on these things now. In the event a bolt does come out, it'll keep the hood from flying all the way off the car. It will not help the aerodynamics, but it will, as far as the safety issue, keep the hood attached to the car.
And that all started after the 1997 Daytona 500. Ernie Irvin in the 28 car, his hood went in the back grandstand.
But that bottom line with Michael, he finally got some help down there, and now things are going to... Bennett's going to pick up again. Dale Jr. is going to have to decide what he wants to do here. Here comes the 21 car on the bottom. He needs to drop down in front of him.
He went down because he was looking in the mirror and he saw the car, Jimmy Johnson, come down behind him. So he made the defensive move all at the same time, and he may pay the price here.
Look at Michael, though. He's dropping even lower. Look at Dale. He's got Dale Jarrett. He's got Kyle Petty down there. He's got lots of help. Is he going to slide up in front of Elliott Sadler right here, though?
No, he's going to tag on to Kenny Wallace.
His other teammate.
Now we'll say, okay, now I think I'll run the bottom a while.
Yeah. But now Kenny Wallace, he didn't like being up top. Now he has a friend down at the bottom, but look who else goes to the bottom. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Nate, he's back to the bottom.
Okay. Now the leader's family owns the 3rd place car. The guy driving the 2nd place car owns the 2nd place car. The guy driving the 2nd place car owns the 3rd place car. It's pretty incestuous out there, Darrell.
I don't like this. This is getting ugly back in here, guys. Pull them all back up here. We get 3 wide. And as far as the cars go, Mike, and who owns what, I don't think anybody remembers until the day's over with.
Not this late in the race.
They count the change when it's all over with. That's how they know.
They're still 3 and 4 wide back here.
Well, every time I've seen Hut Strickland at 23, he's right in the middle of something. And he's made it work pretty well today.
Well, you got to give Kenny Wallace. You got to pat that boy on the back. Now he's followed that 8 car high, low, and he stayed with him. And you got to give Michael a pretty good pat on the back as well. He fell all the way back to 21st position and was beating and banging back in there 3 wide, and here he is right back in 3rd place.
You can pass here. Let's go down to our Ford Cutaway car and Jeff Hammond to talk about Matt Kenseth's problems.
That's right, Mike. Just want to let you know right quick, this right here is a hood pin that holds the front of the hood down. Goes right here. This is what holds the front part down. This is where Matt's got his problem. This bolt has come out of this back hinge, and the hood is bouncing up and down. But as I said a minute ago, here is the hood tether. It's attached to the roll bar and then bolted up here to the hood through a metal plate to keep it attached just in case a bolt does come out. It helps keep the hood attached to the race car, not allowing to get it on the racetrack, which would also be a problem for the competitors. But to get up in the grandstands, which is a no-no, this This right here will help prevent that from happening. Mike?
So Kenseth staying on the racetrack should not present a safety problem at this stage. Tony Stewart coming up behind Kenseth. Jimmy Johnson right behind Stewart.
We've had a lot of unfamiliar names at the front today, but as this race unwinds here, you're going to start hearing names like Jarrett. Where'd he come from? 4th. Sterling Marlin, 7th. Jeff Gordon, 8th.
Tony Stewart ran at the front early, went to the back. Now he's working his way back to the top 10, up in 12th.
How quickly things change. At Talladega, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the leader, 33 to go. First of those, 5th placed Kyle Petty. Kyle finished 2nd here in 1985. He has 18 top 10s here in 41 starts. The most recent of those right here in the spring of 2000.
One thing you need to be looking at, we keep talking about this last pit stop. If I'm the pit crew chief, and I'm trying to tell my gas guy, I said, look, man, this is all coming down on your shoulders. You've got to hit that gas filler as quick as you can and listen to my call. You start telling the driver, you go on my command. Also, you'll be telling them to hustle in and hustle out. But the guy who's going to be the most crucial part of this whole equation is the gas man. If he can hit that filler neck without any problem and run with that car, they can pick up some valuable time in the pits right now.
But, Jeff, let me tell you the other valuable person. We saw Stacy Compton do it earlier. That driver, his adrenaline's flowing. He has to get that thing in gear, and he cannot stall that car, and he definitely cannot speed on pit road. Critical stop.
One other thing, Larry, when he comes off a pit road, don't flat spot it, don't spin it out.
Well, that's the thing you got to worry about. If you're not going to change tires, it's so easy to lock the right front up here and flat spot it. So driver's got to he's got to do everything right.
One caution all day, that merely for debris. Lasted 4 laps, 161 complete. Wow, 27 to go. Kevin Harvick and Robbie Gordon are starting to make their presence known in the top 10, and you see a lot of movement.
And the movement will grow as these laps wind down, trust me.
Now's when you take off the gloves, boys. Now's when you go for it.
Dale Jarrett, that UPS car, got Kyle Petty in the sprint car behind him, starting to work that high side. This is a battle for 3rd right here beside Michael Waltrip in the 15 car.
I take that back. Now's when you pull those gloves up over your elbows.
Kenny Wallace has not left the rear bumper of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Do you blame him?
Well, no.
But who is that lurking on the outside there?
That outside line we saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. making it work. And here's a battle for the lead down the backstretch.
If I was Dale Jr., I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
And look at the swarm behind him. This is the first serious challenge Earnhardt Jr.'s had in quite a while.
I think what we'll see here is I think you got 2 race cars that are pretty equal. They're going to run side by side for a while, I'm afraid. Of course, these cars, now they're coming in a pit. They'll be out of the way.
They wanted to get out of the way.
Man,
that's the best place for them.
I saw trouble there.
Frank Kimmel and Jerry Nadeau.
How about Dale Jarrett? Started 41st. Here he is in the lead.
Well, we saw that at Daytona. You know, those guys in the Fords, they complained about their cars, and they raced pretty darn good.
Uh-oh, Kyle caught up the field. Accordion's back.
Whoa, man.
Trouble. Stewart in the wall.
Here we go. Here we go.
Robbie Gordon's in at the 33. Harvick is around.
Here we go, guys.
The big one.
It's just a matter of time.
At least 20 cars.
The way this started, Kyle Petty ran up high going into turn 1, and as he tried to find a place in line, the whole field kind of accordioned together. Mayhem.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Jarrett racing back to the start-finish line. Obviously, the caution is out. Kyle Petty in the 45, he actually made it through the wreck. There's Bobby Labonte.
Rusty Wallace was the last car to get through, and Bobby Labonte just got to 19 right at the very end of that wreck.
Mark Martin in the Viagra car running up front. Ricky Craven, 32 car.
Tony Stewart's going by, and the whole right side of his car, he's got into the outside wall.
Jeremy Mayfield.
Jeremy came up in front of Bobby Labonte. Bobby wasn't going very fast.
Oh, Matt Kenseth, number 2 point man. Second in points. And Jimmy Spencer, who was toward the back of the lead lap cars, could not escape it. Sterling Marlin made it through. Yesterday, lap 15. Today, lap 164. Now watch Kyle Petty on the right side of your screen.
Right back here. Here's Kyle.
He's trying to find a place in line, and everybody scrambles.
Mike Wallace in the 33 and up against the wall there.
Elliott Sadler flying toward the inside wall.
Takes a hard hit on that inside wall, guys. That is a heavy hit.
Mark Martin, Terry Labonte.
Now watch. Here's Bobby Labonte right back here. Watch this. Bang!
Oh, that was Mayfield.
Mayfield come across and got him. I'm sure he thought he had made it through.
Elliott Sadler took that hard hit, but he's okay. Matt Kenseth is out of the car and okay. Bobby Labonte has climbed out.
29 and the 31, both the Childress's cars.
Steve Park has climbed from his car, and so has Dave Blaney.
10 car on pit road with damage.
From Tony Stewart. Nudge, wall, mayhem.
There's nowhere to go.
And the leaders will pit. Steve Burns.
Kenny Wallace is in the 98. If this race had stayed green, they would have gone gas only, but they're afraid. Crew Chief Bobby Kennedy. Dale Jarrett's out of the pits. Crew Chief afraid they're going to run over something. 4 tires for him. Let's go to Matt.
Steve, a 2-tire change for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and he will beat the 88 on pit road. They were also debating about going no tires on their last stop around lap 172 or so to Dick.
Kurt Busch came in, he took outside tires. Meanwhile, up and down pit road, this place is just full of race cars that are all bent up. Steve Parker, the number 1, is getting service. Tony Stewart's car is bent up. His crew is working on it. Stewart, a lot of damage in the left front corner of the car. Several cars damaged beyond repair, but they're going to try to get as many of them back out as they possibly can.
For the most part, the leaders, they took 2 tires and full of fuel, so that they're good to go from here. You know, the only thing you worry about, did they run over debris with those left side tires? A few of the leaders took 4, but for the most part, most of them just took 2 tires.
And just like yesterday, Rusty Wallace got a little damage there where he got in the back of somebody, obviously. But just like yesterday, if you were in the front, it was safe. But anywhere else, and you were in big trouble.
Darrell, let's have another look.
Yeah, you see right here as they come off the corner. Of course, this is the lead up here. The guys out front. Boy, watch that 21 car go out across there. And I mean, that thing is picking up speed. Bam! Right into the end of that wall. It's a good thing that was on the right side.
He climbed out and walked to the ambulance. Elliott Sadler was okay. Robbie Gordon right in the midst of this.
Man, look how quickly. You see how quickly that car turned? It just makes you dizzy watching it.
Happens in a hurry.
Someone caught him in the right rear, Darrell. I'm not sure who. Is this Mayfield?
Watch him come out into Bobby Labonte right there.
It was Kevin Harvick tipped Robbie Gordon there in the middle of it.
And look, that's Bobby Labonte spinning around there by Kyle. I can't tell if he had hit anything. He gets it straightened up, and I'm sure he's thinking, man, I may have made a great save.
Until then. Dick Burton.
Robbie Gordon started on the outside of the front row, ran well all day. It looked like he was headed for at least a top 5 finish, maybe even a win. He's now behind the wall, car jacked up. What happened out there?
I don't know what happened. Total disappointment for the singular team. You know, we had a really good car, riding along. Somebody clipped me from the back, so I don't know what happened. I was just holding my own line. So who knows? I don't know who did it, but that's just kind of been our luck all year. This team's really, really coming around. We just need some luck, and that's just hurting us. But, you know, I'm really proud of the guys. They did a good job all day. We kind of had a plan. We were just going to ride around in the back there and position ourselves for the end. Unfortunately, we weren't in the position where we could miss the big wreck.
We're glad you're okay, Robbie.
Johnny Benson getting some water and air from fire extinguishing foam there and powder. He was trying to limp around to the pits, and something in the left rear of the car caught fire. Darrell, that powder is designed to suck the oxygen out of that fire, and inhaling that is not good.
No, it isn't. And you know, we've got those coolers in the car that blows air into our helmets. If he got some of that sucked in that box and it blew it even inside of his helmet, that could be really bad.
And a lot of times air for that box is in that left rear quarter window, so it was all going right through his box into his helmet, possibly. All three of Ray Abraham Dodge's involved: Bill Elliott, Jeremy Mayfield, and Casey Atwood.
There's the 5 car.
Involved in the crash: Mike Wallace, Dave Blaney, Mayfield, Park, Robbie Gordon, Kenseth, Bobby Labonte, Harvick, Sadler, Grissom, Schrader, Benson, Andretti, Martin, Skinner, Stewart, Spencer, Wallace, Mayfield.
Cars everywhere. I mean, the 5th place car had a problem. That's what happens.
Elliott Sadler.
This has got to be a bad ride right here. What's it saying? Fortunately, it got around on the right side.
A big crash at Talladega. 21 laps to go. We'll be right back. Johnny Benson is being treated by the emergency workers here. You can see Johnny, he's sitting up and he's okay, but he got some of that fire extinguisher powder apparently when that car caught fire at the left rear. And that's nasty stuff. You don't want to be inhaling that.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was a bad thing. They had to put the fire out, and he's still in the car.
Steve Burns.
Mike, Dave Blaney just come from the infield care center. Dave, first of all, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Everybody, that's all I was. Man, I was too far back from it to even see how it started. I just, Benson's rear end went up in the air, and I hit it and just hung on.
All right, thanks, Dave. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, Steve Park's crew is working on the nose of this car, and they have a great deal of work to do. They're trying to fabricate new fenders for the thing. They're going to have to change the radiator, an awful lot of work. This is the second wreck of the weekend for Park. He was not the villain in either of those. The first one, it was a cut tire in practice. This one, an innocent victim. Steve, what happened out there?
It just looked like the 33 got into the 20, and you know, you get so late in the race, it's uncalled for. I mean, the 20 wasn't doing nothing wrong, and it just, you know, all the fans saw the big wreck yesterday and didn't want to see it today, and none of us wanted to see it and happen. So unfortunately the Pennzoil car got caught up in it, but these guys are working hard to get us back out and get as many laps as we can.
Okay, thanks. To Steve Burns.
Bobby, tell us what happened.
Yeah, I looked up. I didn't look up. I was looking, and the 29 car got sideways. I don't know what made him go sideways at first, but he was sideways. And I think I clipped him in the right rear just a little bit, which turned my car to the right, slid sideways, and it went back to the left. I got going straight, and guys were still wrecked on the inside. The 19 car just was sliding, and I ended up hitting him after I kind of got straightened out. I believe it would have been all right if that hadn't happened.
That's all right.
Yep.
12 cars are behind the wall under repair. One good thing about this incident, other than that no one was injured, was that none of these cars tried to get airborne.
No, and the reason why is the roof flaps that NASCAR has done a great job of creating. And as we see these cars come off the corner, and I mean, it just all of a sudden the 33 gets into the 20, and then it becomes a 20 gets forced into the wall, which takes the 33 and turns him around. And they start bouncing off of other cars. But watch, there's a roof flap that's deployed right there. And if we roll a little bit further, you'll see the 29, I think, here, his deploy right there. And Jeff, maybe you can explain to the folks at home what that's all about.
I hope I can, Darrell, but let's talk about the total package here. Starts first with the side glass, which helps send that air back over the top of the car. Then we got a little about 1-inch deflector strip. Again, it kind of breaks that airflow up. And when that goes in operation, it also activates the roof flap. When you start backwards or sideways, it comes up. And just like on an airplane, it makes this car decelerate. It's an air brake. Probably one of the greatest safety factors to ever come up here in NASCAR. Has kept a lot of these race cars on the ground. Gives a driver an opportunity to keep all 4 tires and his foot on the brake and slow himself down. Keep him flipping upside down the back straightaway. And one of the guys who was very instrumental in making this happen was Jack Roush and Roush Industries.
And Darrell, the story of how those roof flaps were developed is really interesting.
Well, it is. They took the NASCAR jet. They went down to the Darlington airport, and they tore up a lot of cars. They tied cars on the back of a flatbed, and they used the engines off the jet to make the air, to blow air 180 miles an hour. And they tried blowing the deck lids up. They tried all kinds of different devices to keep the car from getting airborne. And in the process, they came up with the roof flap based on an airplane.
And I have to say, as a crew chief, when they first came out, it's like, what in the world are these things? But you look at how instrumental they are at keeping these race cars from flying like airplanes and getting upside down.
And the other thing is they deploy by the air blowing across them. There's no gadgets in there, no motors or anything to make them go up. The air does it.
You're riding with Johnny Benson through mayhem in the Aaron's 499 on Fox, presented by Pepsi. 18 laps to go. Talladega twice in 2 days. Yesterday in the Aaron's 312 on your left, lap 15. Watch the yellow car of Scott Riggs as Kenny Wallace comes up in front of him. Shane Meal gets in the back of Riggs, triggers the big one, flipping Johnny Sauter. Today on the right side of your screen, Kyle Petty coming up the racetrack looking for a hole. Everybody accordions behind him. And again, a melee ensues. Yesterday, 27 cars. Today, 24 cars involved.
Daryl, how come? I mean, 2.66 miles, but wreck after wreck after wreck here at Talladega, off of 2, third of the way down that backstretch.
Well, what happens is the cars get to pushing up over there. You exit that corner a lot differently than you do turn 4. Turn 4, you're running into the tri-oval, and so the turn is more forgiving, more sweeping. Here are the cars, when you're trying to run on the bottom, as the tires wear and the track slickens over there, you just want to push up all the time. You keep pushing up and up and up, and first thing you know, you get into somebody.
And you can't run 5 wide. That don't work either.
And what happens, somebody has to lift, just ever so slightly, and that bottlenecks the whole crowd up.
And after this was all over, Johnny Benson trying to get to pit road.
Fire, Johnny, stop. Put him out, boys, put him out. Get out of that thing, Johnny.
Johnny Benson aflame. We're under caution, cleaning up. We'll be going back to green flag.
Hold your breath, Johnny, hold your breath.
He's out of the car, guys.
Crash 21, the previous mark on record in 1973, and then the Busch race yesterday, 27 cars involved. Jeff Hammond, let's talk about 3 factors here as to why this takes place: restrictor plates, the aero package, and the drivers. Which is to blame?
Chris, right now, this right here has been basically the culprit, they say, for a lot of this right here. But I don't buy that.
Okay.
At Darlington, we had 13 cars involved in a wreck there. It was unrestricted.
All right. What about the aero package?
The aero package, again, they've tried so many different combinations of aero packages, and still they have not been able to get away from the big one. It is this is nature of the beast. Talladega, it's always been this way.
So can the drivers, I mean, they're put in a position here where they really, it's too many cars going too fast, 188 miles per hour, and not enough places to go.
Closeness to the competition. We talked about it earlier in the show. That's usually what gets you in trouble. It's usually driver induced. Somebody makes a mistake. It doesn't mean they did it deliberately, but it's the closest to the competition.
All right, amazingly, again, no serious injuries. As we showed you, Johnny Benson treated for some heat, but doing much better, and for some problems with fire on his car. Let's go down now trackside with Dick Bergman.
Jeremy Mayfield was one of those 24 drivers involved in the big one this afternoon at Talladega. The crew trying to get the car back together, get it back on the racetrack. Prefabricated radiator brackets all ready to go. They're welded back on again. This is an enormous effort, Jeremy. Why all this work when this race is almost over?
Well, I mean, points are everything anymore, and it doesn't take much to get you down or up. So we're going to try hard to get back out there and get a few points back. And just hate it for the Dodge dealers, UAW Dodge Day. I mean, it was good car all day. We just kind of got caught up in a mess there, but we'll be back next week, California.
We're glad you're okay. To Mike Joy.
Frank Kimmel was not in the big one, but he can gain 15 spots if he runs the rest of this race without losing another lap. Let's listen to Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s in-car radio here.
I just want some points. Y'all want points? I want points. I want points. A lot of points come with that trophy. I want to win, but I ain't going to end up on my roof. This car means too much to me.
Now, I won't read the list, but 20 cars were docked for pitting before the pit road was open and go to the tail end of the line. As we're getting set to go with 14, it'll be 13 laps to go when they come back.
And what Dale Jr. is saying is he is not going to cut somebody off or block somebody if they get a run on him to win this race. This puts a real chill on the drivers. They've seen what happened. They're just thankful everybody walked away. And NASCAR's got a dilemma here, guys. There's 200,000 people here to watch this show today.
Jimmy Johnson, the 48, he's laying back just a little bit. Again, they all trying to time it just right when they get this restart on the green flag.
Earnhardt Jr., the leader, 9th in the point standings. He has led the most laps, so that's a 10-point bonus.
And listen, just because there's 20-some cars wrecked, the intensity is still going to be there. Trust me.
Out of the race, John Andretti, Johnny Benson, Elliott Sadler, Bobby Labonte, and Mike Wallace from that crash. Other cars still in repair.
Look how far out front Dale Jr. got. Holy smoly.
But you know, those 22 cars on the lead lap, realistically, only 13 don't have damage. I think good, you know, the cars are good enough to get up there and bid for the win.
Deja vu. Saturday's race all over again, but with a lot more cars in contention after the big one.
Oh, I wouldn't even say that we're finished yet, because I mean, now we're going for the win, and we've only got a few laps.
12 to go when they come back to the line.
And listen, jumping out front a big lead like that is not really a good thing, because you're a sitting duck.
They've kicked our pole sitter down to the bottom right there. He's going to go from about 3rd to about 7th here before they complete this first lap after the restart.
Jeff Gordon right behind his protege Jimmy Johnson. They are 6th and 8th.
Right now, Dale Jarrett wants to be right where he is, and he wants everybody to stay right where they are. If Michael would help Dale Jarrett, now that would be something. He might get by Dale Jr., but I don't think Michael would do that.
Dale Jarrett sandwiched right between those two DEI cars, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip.
Oh, here you go. Michael's going to get a run down under him.
Now, who will Kurt Busch go with?
You're still feeling the low lines moving.
He stays low. He's going with Michael.
Well, he's doing, Dale Jr.'s doing what I do. He's playing both sides of the street.
He's got the 97
he doesn't want it, you know, he wants somebody behind him he thinks he can beat.
Dale Jarrett don't have a lot of help.
Whoa, 99 below the yellow line.
Long as he don't gain a position, Darrell, before getting to turn 1, looks like he got back up in line.
He did, and the 97 really forced him down there, his teammate.
And he lost some momentum trying to do that. Looks like he's hung on the bottom right here. Brett Bodine in that 11 car down to the bottom right here. This is a good run for him.
Running 10th right now. Well, I can't believe the way Dale Jr. can shoot out there. Look how far out front he got.
Chevrolet has not won a race this season, the longest winless streak to start the season since 1992, when Ford won the first 9 races.
Here comes our pole setter right down on the bottom underneath Michael. Dale Jr.'s loving this. Get side by side, work both sides of the street, suck one up, then get the other one, let them run side by side.
Jimmy Johnson, he's got the help of Kurt Busch in that 97. Sterling Martin, he's trying to push Michael Waltrip in the 15. 10 to go this time.
The momentum here. He's got the 15 and the 40 in it.
Do you need a friend here, Darrell, or is it every man for himself?
Oh, yeah. Well, if you're out front, you just want to get somebody behind you that'll work with you. I believe that 15 car would be my choice.
Mark Martin's car rolling to a halt on the back straightaway. He had come out from the garage with a lot of damage.
Oh, boy, they're still tight coming off that second turn.
Jeff Gordon in the 24 car. He's down there at the bottom. He's got a little help from Brett Bodine in the 11.
Well, he's got his teammate right behind him, too. So everybody's working hard right now. 10 to go, and anybody can win this thing.
Robbie Gordon down on the apron. Again, damaged in that big crash. Dale Earnhardt Jr., his teammate Michael Waltrip, ducks to the inside as they come off turn 4. This will be 9 to go.
Dale Jr.'s just in the driver's seat. I mean, he can go where he wants to, and it affects the cars behind him. He can suck one guy up. Then he moves over and sucks another guy up.
And who's coming to the front after being tail out Charlie most of the race? Jeffrey Bodine, third place finisher in the 500. He's right in the middle of that mix in the 09.
And the reason he was at Daytona is he missed the big one.
Right.
They've not even competed in a race since Daytona. Dick Bergen.
Well, Jeffrey Bodine has not felt well in that car all day. From lap 50 on, he has been dehydrated. He has not felt well on every pit stop. They've given him cold water. He stuffed ice into his uniform. Remember, he has not raced since the Daytona 500. This is a very hot day. Bodine, an incredibly heroic effort just to still be in the car. They were looking for some. There's a caution on the speedway.
Mark Martin's car cannot make it back to pit road. That draws the caution. We will get this race restarted, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. will bring them to the caution flag.
And we're inside 10 laps to go. So it will be a single file restart.
Thank goodness for electronic scoring transponders. I would hate to have to sort out that run to the line to give you a restart order.
From about 4th to 20th.
Well, the 4th place car was 0.3 of a second behind the lead. The 18th place car was 1 second behind the lead. That is a gaggle of cars. We're going to finish this under green. We'll be right back. final few laps. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led more than 2/3 of this race, 126 laps. The last time at Talladega anybody led more than 100 laps was May of 1993. Dale Earnhardt did it, but he did not win. Ernie Irvan led just 3 laps to win it. Here's our Coors Light race recap. Pole sitter Jimmy Johnson led the first 8 laps, but Earnhardt Jr. and Michael Waltrip have combined to lead all but 41 laps. 24 cars crashed at lap 163, and we are getting set for a restart, and we may be minus Tony Stewart, who has been sent to the garage area, sent to the pits with a black flag for smoking. Now, we are 6 laps from the finish. There is some cleanup of fluid to be done on the track, so the cars will be put under the red flag in the back straightaway and the race halted. This means that none of the cars can be worked on either on the backstretch or the cars in the pits or the garage. Nothing can be done to those cars until we go back under yellow.
Now, these restrictor plate engines, they are really finicky little engines. I mean, there's all kinds of things that are different in a restrictor plate motor than in our normal open engines. I don't know if I'd want to pull that thing back there and shut it off or not.
But you got to watch your temperature, because no air flowing through the radiator. Even though we have a fan, they certainly can sit there and get warm.
Boy, it can hurt. I mean, you can warp a valve. There's so much heat in these little engines. You can warp a valve. You can have all kind of mechanical things happen.
You see the red flag displayed there. All the cars, this is on the back straightaway. Cars are stopping. As Mike said, no work anywhere, not on the racetrack, in the pits or in the garage.
Sterling, stay in your car. Remember the Daytona 500? Sterling Marlin was leading, but he had a tire rub on the right front. He got out to look at it, and when he tugged on that fender, all America and all the officials saw it, and he had to pit for a penalty stop, because you cannot work on your car during the red flag. Matt Yoakum?
Well, Mike Joy, under some radio conversation between Tony Eury Jr. and Dale Jr., he said, keep an eye on the water, and whatever you do, don't get out and fix the fender.
Hey, Sterling Marlin, this is DW in the TV booth. You got a copy, bud? Sterling, this is DW. You got a copy?
Might be don't touch that fender and don't touch that dial.
Don't bother me right now, man. Can't you? Yeah, maybe we'll try to go to a break. Maybe we can get him while we're on break.
All right, 3 Chevrolets in front with 6 laps to go. Can Chevrolet win its first race of the season? They've won 6 of the last 7 restrictor plate races at Daytona and Talladega. Nobody's left. There are 6 laps to go. We're under the red flag in the Aaron's 499 on Fox, presented by Pepsi. There are the cars stopped in the back straightaway. Oil from Tony Stewart's car has to be cleaned up, and that's why we've stopped this race under red, so we can try to finish it under green. When this situation happened at Daytona and there was a red flag, Sterling Marlin had a tire rubbing the right front fender, got out to take a look. That's how it got in against the tire.
Got dinged in.
Battling with Jeff Gordon for the lead. Now it's not illegal to get out and look at that fender.
It's pulling on it that's illegal.
That's illegal.
And that's when that door came open. And that wasn't a door of opportunity either.
No.
And we've discussed it since. Sterling, if you pull out the fender, you get a penalty stop. And if you don't pull out the fender, you have to stop and have it pulled out. So there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Eury. Let's listen in.
All right, go ahead and shut it off, and don't get out and fix the fender.
Have a little fun here.
There's nothing wrong with this fender. Now they're moving cars around to clean up some oil that's on the track there in the back straightaway. Here's Michael Waltrip talking with his crew.
I don't know what to do here. Maybe screw us both up. But we definitely are going to get, or they're definitely going to get up beside me here in a minute, because I can't get this lucky over and over.
Well, sometimes it's good to have a teammate, and sometimes it isn't. And I'm not sure right now is a good time. Hey, Michael, this is DW. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's that record doing behind you, bud?
Well, I think my starter's messed up. I got plenty of voltages, but it won't start. So they're going to give me a little bump off here so I can continue my pursuit of JR.
You're kind of in a difficult situation, aren't you, bud?
Walking on eggshells somewhat, but it's survival of the fittest. I've sat here and determined. I've had an up and down tenure with DEI, and they give me great cars. Slugger especially works his tail off, Steve Mill Ritchie. So I've determined while sitting here that I've got to win this race. That's what my plan is with our Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Foster Furniture, Coca-Cola, Ritz Crackers, everybody works real hard to give us a great car to win with. I got one to win with here. Politics is not going to enter into it.
Well, it probably isn't, but that 8 car has shown to be this. It's awfully strong. I mean, he's been out front all day long. Good luck, and I hope everything works out all right for you.
Yeah, he told me at the driver's meeting my car was faster than his, but I don't think it is today. I think they're about the same. I got a good car. I had a lot of fun just holding everybody off for him so he could lead there for a long time. That was pretty cool. And now it's my turn to have a little bit more fun.
Yeah, I did want to give you an attaboy. That one time when you fell way back there at about 21st and looked like things were going south on you, you turned it around and you worked your way back up there and you did a great job. So let's finish it off.
Okay, DW, thanks for the props. Kenny Wallace is doing one fantastic job in mine and Buffy's little Aaron's Dream Machine. It's an Aaron's Dream weekend, and hopefully we can win the Aaron's $4.99. They're making dreams come true for $99. You get it?
Why does this sound like C.W. McCall's Convoy
You're gonna get us
movie?
both fired if you keep that.
It's a CB radio thing, truckers on the highway. It's like that moving airplane. Good luck, we're all counting on you.
Yeah, right.
All right.
We're all behind you.
Steve Burns.
Mike with Slugger Labby, the crew chief for Michael Waltrip. Slugger, Michael just said on the radio it's survival of the fittest. What does that mean?
Well, I guess it's going to be about like a 5-lap shootout, so kind of hard when your teammates in front of you, but you got to do what we got to do. And Napa Chevrolet, this team needs a win bad, and that's what, we're going to shoot to do it. We passed them twice today on the racetrack, so let's try to do it 3 times and get the win.
All right, good luck. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, I've been listening to Earnhardt Jr. in my radio, and so far the only thing he has said is that it's getting mighty hot in that automobile. Tony Uni Sr., his crew chief, is this a bit nerve-wracking sitting around here waiting for the green flag to see if you're going to win this?
Yeah, we just got over the last nerve-wracking there, and then they had to put the yellow out again for the oil, but hopefully we can keep that Budweiser Chevy up front there. We played a lot of this race today, run good up front. Guys back in the fab shop did a great job on this car. We destroyed this car in Daytona, knocked the whole body off of it, and we all went home sick. Didn't think we could get it back as good as it was. I'm still not sure it's as good as it was. We're going to take her to the wind tunnel next week and find out. We ain't even had time to get it into the wind tunnel, so we're going to take it next week and see if it's as good as it was. If it's not, we're going to work on it some more, but hopefully we can win this race, and hopefully Michael will push us home second. He thinks it's his turn, so he might not want to play with us this time. So,
well, what's your story? Are we too deep into this thing to have any friends at all? You going to try to work with Michael or anybody else?
I don't think you're going to have any friends when this race starts. Ain't no telling who our friend might be. It's going to be a tough restart, I think, and hopefully we can get the start we got last time. We stay in front of them, and we get her wound up there. I don't know whether they can get by him or not. They definitely going to have to team up on him to get him, so hopefully we can stay out there.
Well, one friend that Earnhardt Jr. will surely have is his eyes in the sky, and that's Ty Norris, his spotter, and this guy, his crew chief, who will try to help him win the race this afternoon.
I don't know if I like this, Darrell. You got too much time to think of too many plans and too many things that you could do, and then we're going to go out here and race for 4 laps.
Yeah, and and Michael and Dale Jr. are worried about each other. And I tell you, that 48 car right there with Jimmy Johnson, our pole sitter, he's there. Jeff Burton's there. Man, I wouldn't just focus on one guy.
But I worked for Richard Childress for 4 years, and he worked with the man that built this dynasty. And trust me, I think I know what the philosophy is here. Don't help somebody else win this race. Don't take each other out, but may the best man win.
When I say I don't like it, I mean I don't like it because it's nerve-wracking for everybody, including the drivers. Not I don't like it. I like that we're going to finish this race under green.
Well, this is DEI, and you know what that stands for. This is not MWI.
Oh, Dale Earnhardt won. Okay. Junior even.
No, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, not Michael Waltrip Incorporated.
Right after today's race on Fox, extended post-race coverage comes to you on the Speed Channel. More interviews and race analysis. If you're not getting the Speed Channel, just call 1-888-22-SPEED and get your extended post-race coverage on the Speed Channel.
It's 4:99 on Fox, presented by Pepsi. With 25 laps to go, Dale Jarrett was leading coming out of turn 2. There was a 24-car pileup, and there is what remains with 6 laps to go. We're currently under the red flag. The command has just been given to fire them up with Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to win his first of the year, and Chevrolet trying to win its first of the year. Jeff, what should we anticipate given the situation here over the final few laps?
Don't touch that dial, as they say, because it's going to get wild and woolly. I'm sure a lot of these crew chiefs right now, at least I was out there on the pit box, I'd be saying, man, pull those belts tight, spotter. You got to be on your best game, boys. Let's get back in this game. Everybody's been down a little bit, had a chance to talk about strategy. We got to go racing again, and you've got to get refocused on what the job at hand is.
And with the single-file restart, given the situation, is there a better chance for somebody to make a move? This is right now where you can't really anticipate anything. Depending on what Dale Jr. does to his teammate, it could stack a lot of things up. Remember at Daytona? We had a restart late in the race, and all of a sudden guys got into one another and they were spinning down across the grass. You never know what's going to happen. All right, and that's where the precedent, of course, was set for this finish. And let's go back upstairs.
So far this year, 3 wins for Dodge, 3 for Ford, 2 for Pontiac, none for Chevy, but 4 Chevys, 4 Fords, and 2 Dodges in the top 10. They will open the pits and give them 1 to go.
Well, let's see if we can talk to Jeff Burton in the Ford, the best Ford out there right now. Jeff Burton, this is DW in the TV tire. Bud, you got anything for them Chevrolets?
Well, they're a little faster than we are, but I have a feeling they're not content to run first, second, and third here. That means that there'll be an opportunity to make something happen when one of those guys tries to make something happen. So we're just going to be on our toes and try to make the right move when they make their moves, and keep the guys behind us from making a move before we make our move. We'll see if we can do all that. It sounds easy, but we'll see if we can make it happen.
Hey, you know, Ward's right there with you too, Bud. Could y'all team up maybe?
He helped me out there just a minute ago. I was about to get in trouble, and he came up and saved me. So I got the big cat in my mirror, and I'm hoping that if I need him, he'll be there for me. But he's got to race his race too. You know, it's every man for himself out here. He's got to do what he's got to do to get the best finish he can get. If that means he can help me and get a great finish, then he'll do it. If not, then he can't, because that's just the way it works, you know.
Well, you got 1 to go here, Bud, and thanks for talking to us, and good luck.
But
when they come back to the line, they will take the green flag with 4 laps to go, and 500 miles of holding your breath is going to come down to about 11 miles of a shootout. And the finishes here have been really close in this race the last 5 years. No race has been won by more than 0.2 of a second. Look at those numbers.
Yeah, well, again, we talked about the start-finish line, where it is. So when they come off of turn 4, nobody's safe. The race starts when you come off of 4. It's a long way down here, almost to turn 1, to where they declare who the winner of this event's going to be.
That extra quarter mile can make a big difference.
Look how far that is, Larry. Look at that. That's way down here is where we got to go to.
Yes, it is. And you mentioned earlier, under 10 laps to go, a down finger restart, only lead lap cars, and there's 21 of them. Single file lead lap cars to the front, so no lap cars to contend with.
Now, the last restart, Dale Jr. shot way out there. And that's really great that your car's that fast, but you're a setting duck. Those guys are going to get a run on you, and you may not be able to block them all. So he might want to lay back a little bit and get Michael going with him at the same time.
Yesterday in the Busch race, Jason Keller led. Stacy Compton caught him, but could not pass him. If Earnhardt Jr. gets a big jump and they catch him, will they be able to go around?
There's a number of cars here. So what's going to happen, whichever way Michael goes, if he decides he wants to race Dale Jr. for the win, whichever way he goes, Jeff Burton or one of those other cars is going to go the other way. And then that's when it's going to get interesting.
See the Fox tracks, pace car speed on the racetrack, roughly 70 miles per hour. Pit road speed 55, but on the racetrack it's 70.
Now, there's not a lot of laps to work with here, but I'm telling you, if I was those guys, I would lay off of Dale Jr., let him get that big run, and then I'd chase him down that back straightaway and try to make a move on him.
Everywhere we go, a big lead is good, except Daytona and Talladega on a restart.
In other words, Darrell, you don't want to battle him one-on-one. You want to gang up on him?
Yeah, you need help. Looks like everybody's about equal except Dale Jr. He's a little quicker. It's every man for himself. You heard it.
I just don't think you want to wait to that last lap, Darrell. I think you want to do it early.
Got to do it. Got to do it. And if you had to do it right now.
Go.
Green flag. Dale Jarrett ran into the back of Sterling Marlin as they took the green. Here we go.
Trying to anticipate the start.
Ward Burton ducks out. Hooks up with his brother Jeff. Jimmy Johnson just ahead of them.
And there you see Dale Jr. getting that big lead. Buddy, I just don't know about that.
They're kicking Jeffrey Bodine, the 09 car there, out of the line. He's to the top side. That's an awfully big lead to have there, Darrell.
It is. Oh, here comes Ward Burton. Right behind him, Kurt Busch and Sterling Marlin.
3 back.
Whoa!
Now that's what Dale Jr. wanted to see. Get that bunch behind him. Get them racing each other. Get them side by side.
Slice and dice.
Play both sides of the street. Work the middle.
Here comes Ward. Daytona 500 winner Burton in the 22.
With help from Brother Jeff in the 99.
Now, if Michael will stay behind Dale Jr., I don't think they got anything to worry about. But I don't know if Michael's going to do that or not.
Ooh. Those guys running side by side, that's not going to help nobody right there as far as Michael. 3 laps to go.
See, one thing that Michael's worried about is that his car's not fast as Dale Jr.'s, and he's going to have to fend off these guys when they get to him.
Ran through a little speedy dry there. You saw a little dust up from Michael's onboard as they went into turn 1.
Boy, Junior's car is just so fast through the center of the corner. He just is able to pull everybody right there.
Whoa! Jimmy Johnson. And that 48.
Got a great run, but see what that zigging and zagging did to him? It broke his momentum, and there come Ward. That helped the heck out of the 22 car, and now he's up beside of Michael.
But he don't have a lot of help behind him right now up there, Darrell.
A lot of folks behind him, just not a lot of help.
Not close.
Boy, this is really nerve-wracking for Dale Jr. He's got to make the right move. He's got to make the right move to keep those guys behind him.
2 laps to go.
Here comes Jimmy Johnson. He's got a fast car. He can't find any place to go. He got no place to run it.
15's got a big run.
Now here comes Michael right to the back bumper of Earnhardt Jr.
But watch that 8 car pull through the center of the corner. He really accelerates right through the center of the corner.
Pretty much Dale Earnhardt Jr. spotter, Ty Norris. He's letting him know everything going on behind him.
Contact there, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jarrett.
And Dale Jarrett, he's worked himself into the picture, and there's Jeffy Gordon right there with him.
Right on his rear bumper, 24 car. Now they've kicked Jimmy Johnson, the 48 car, up to the high side. He don't have a lot of help. We'll be coming to the white flag, but guys.
And 4 of the top 5 as they come to the line. Make that 5 of the top 6. Our 500-mile race winners.
All right, 1 more.
Whoa, 3 wide in contact in the tri-oval.
3 car lengths back to
and here we go. 1 lap to go.
Darrell, I think if he runs the bottom, it's going to be hard for him to get by him on the high side.
Yeah, I don't see any way. I mean, they're going to lay off of him and try to get a run on him, but he's just too fast.
1 lap ago, they got that run. If Kurt Busch can get right to the back bumper of Michael Waltrip, they may have a chance at Earnhardt Jr.
How about that Kurt Busch? Whoa, how about, that's what Dale Jr. Dale Jarrett just said, how about that Kurt Busch?
But you and Michael are single file. They kind of stalemated. They stalemate.
Oh, this is Dale Jr.'s in the catbird seat now. Those guys are stalling. They're stalling out behind him.
It's just you and bring it on home, buddy.
All you got to do is worry about which way to go now for Michael. Michael doesn't want to let anybody get by him.
Trying to get a run.
They got it. First and second.
Here comes Michael to the bottom, and he's going to run out of time. Earnhardt Jr. wins at Talladega.
Michael second, Kurt Busch third, Jeff Gordon fourth, Kenny Wallace fifth, and that Michael Waltrip.
How about that? That's 3 DEI cars, 8, 15, and 98.
First, second, and fifth. For Dale Earnhardt Jr., his 2nd straight Talladega win. He's only started 5 Winston Cup races here. He's won 2 of them, and he's won 3 of the last 4 restrictor plate races.
Well, I tell you, those guys gave him 1 fast race car today. I mean, he just had a car that could lead the race. Nobody could pass him. Everybody tried. Led a lot of laps. Dominated this show.
Kurt Busch finishes 3rd in this race for the 2nd straight year, and let's go to Dick Berggren.
And I'm with Tony Eury Sr. He is on his way to victory lane. How much of today was car, and how much of it was that young man behind the wheel, Tony?
Well, definitely he's one hell of a wheel man here, but I think we owe that one right there to Michael Waltrip. This DEI brigade at these speedways is turned into something big. We even had Kenny Wallace coming on there with our old 2000 car, so Steve got messed up in a wreck and he got tore up, but all them DEI cars run good. Richie did one heck of a job in that engine shop there. Fab shop, great job. All their cars ran good this week. They all qualified good, and took 220 people at DEI to win this race.
Well, congratulations. Go on to victory lane and celebrate. Hey, look at this. Donuts in the infield.
Remember the 98 Daytona 500? Between those donuts in the infield, right there, grass before victory lane. Dale Earnhardt. And here's Junior.
And these fans are performance. They are just going crazy. They love it.
In 9 races this season, quite a group of winners. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has his 5th top 5 finish, first win of the season, 5th win on a super speedway, 6th of his career, and it's the 7th straight Talladega win for Chevrolet.
And Chevrolet's first win this year, 2002.
Michael Waltrip, Kurt Busch, and Jeff Gordon did a great job of coming forth.
In 9 races, Darrell, he's the 7th different driver to go to victory lane.
Look at. Got to be one tired young man. It takes a lot of not only physical ability to hang in there all day, but a lot of mental ability as well.
Yes. Come on out.
It's a physically demanding track, but it's also very mentally demanding.
He led 133 of the 188 laps. His dad was the intimidator. Today, Junior was the dominator.
Got that right.
Matt Yoakum.
In a shower of bud, Dale Earnhardt Jr. breaks a winless streak dating back to his win here last fall. This is a big win. You were a little bit cautiously optimistic about this car after the rebody, but boy, it sure came through today.
Yeah, it was. It's a good car. We tore the body off at Daytona, so for it to come back and be as good as it was today says a lot about the fabrication department at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. They work real hard, and I want to thank all them boys. I mean, this is their race, and what a teammate I got in Michael Waltrip. Not many people, I don't care if they are your teammate, are going to do that for you and help you. So he deserves as much credit as anybody for where we are right now.
Now, you and Michael were concerned about the pack of wolves behind you because he was doing all he could to hold them off. How concerned were you that maybe they might get by?
Well, I mean, all day we led, so it's like, I don't think anybody can beat the car, but, you know, if they gang up on you, leave you by yourself. I think to be honest with you, I think the 48 had one of the good enough car to run with us. 12 was good, but wasn't nobody help them because they're rookies, and you know we had about the same car they did. Everybody's seen what we've been able to do on a restrictor place. It ain't no secret. A lot of hard work, and it's paying off.
You averaged 26 in your rookie year, 3rd last year, average finish in the plate tracks, 1 for 2 this year. How did you turn it around?
Well, we've always ran up front. Even in my rookie season, we were qualifying up front, running up front. Tony Sr. and the guys have always had good plate cars, always. And DEI has got the best motors, you know. I don't want to say too much because they didn't keep working, but I'm real happy with what they've done this year. Richie Gilmore and everybody back at DEI. Just a great win for us. We're going to try for that championship. And, you know, we keep doing this, we'll have it.
His 6th career win and 84 career starts. To Steve Burns.
All right, thanks, Matt. Michael Waltrip talking to Steve Meal. Michael, tell us about the closing laps. You told DW it was survival of the fittest. Tell us about the end.
Well, I was on him, but his car was just faster than mine today. You know, anytime you get a break like he did on the restart and you can't just come flying in on him, you know he's got a fast car. And we just barely crept back to the back of that car with our Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet and couldn't never make a move. And then on the last lap, Kurt got a big push on us and actually pushed me up beside Junior, but little too late, but very proud of Richie Gilmore and all the boys at DI that build these engines and these cars. It's a lot of fun to have a car that you know is just going to be one of the best ones here. Dale Jr. and I talked before the race, and he said, I believe you're the man today. And, you know, he just was a little bit better. So that was fun, though. What about my Aaron Chevy? My boys, Bobby.
Right
Kennedy.
up there.
The Sherrill's Ford posse is looking good. We worked out an agreement with the Dirty Mo posse, Junior and him. And so we got a few things working.
Y'all got to come up with a better name than the Sherrill's Ford posse, though.
Well, we're just barely a posse. Let us get our stripes, our colors first, and then we'll get a cool name.
You're more of a unit now.
We're more of a group.
All right, thanks.
We're like the volunteer fire department.
All right, let's go to Dick Berggren.
Well, Kurt Busch's first ever career top 3 came right here at Talladega in this event, and you've matched that again. But I was watching that race, and it just seemed as if you were riding solo out there. How'd you pull out a top 3 running solo when no one wanted to run with you?
Having fun, aren't we, Dick? This is awesome. It was kind of like a college test. You go in, you sit down, you're overwhelmed because it's such a big room. There's so many guys taking this test. You're trying to be the best of the best so you can be the teacher's pet, so to speak. And you're making decisions. You're working your way through. You're filling in the right answers. You might stumble across 1 or 2, but you keep your head smart, you keep your head down, and you keep working at it. And we ended up with the top 3 today. We were best in class. I think the Fords were really balanced with the Chevys, the Pontiacs, and the Dodges. There's just nothing we had for those DEI cars. They're strong. We need to figure out what they've got going. So we were best in class today. Just an awesome run. This Rubbermaid team's for real. I'm having a gas. We'll try to get this win for Rubbermaid. We got that win for Sharpie, Rubbermaid. We got some more special paint schemes coming. It's just a great combination going on.
And this guy is for real as well. To Mike Joy.
Thanks, Dick. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is today's winner. Chevy congratulates Dale in the number 8 Monte Carlo as we welcome you to our Aaron's 499 at Talladega post-race show presented by Pepsi. And Dale will tell you the only thing that comes close to Monte Carlo's reputation on the track is its reputation on the street. More champions depend on Chevy. We'll be there. He led all but 55 laps today.
That looks like fun. I like to do that.
I guarantee you he's having fun.
I guarantee he is too. Of course, he will pay for that grass.
NASCAR officials have reviewed the 5th place finish of Kenny Wallace to determine whether or not he unfairly improved his position by going below the yellow line on the final lap. Determination of the officials is that he did benefit by going below the yellow line, and he has been moved from 5th to the last car on the lead lap, 21st.
Oh, Michael's not going to like that.
Here's a look at the order of finish.
Fire department's going to have to put out a fire.
Sterling Marlin in 5th. Boy, he's going to really distance himself on Matt Kenseth, who finished 30th today in the points.
Jimmy Johnson.
Kyle Petty.
Good run.
Good run. Good
Rusty
run.
Wallace with that damaged car. I mean, he did a great job to come back up there to be 8th. And Burton, he just fell back, and then Ward went way back too.
How about Hut Strickland? 11th place finish in his hometown race. Jeffrey Bodine, nice backup of his 3rd place at Daytona.
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Brent right behind him.
And Kenny Wallace came across the line 5th.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth, number 2 point man, tough day.
Cars that were strong, Mark Martin, Elliott Sadler, all those guys involved in the big wreck with about 20-25 laps to go.
Steve Burns is with Kenny Wallace.
All right, thanks, Mike. Kenny Wallace, tell us about that run. You guys just show up out of nowhere. How'd you do it?
Well, I'll be like Little Lee. This is for everybody back at the Lou. St. Louis, Nelly, and the whole bunch. It's fun. You know, it's really fun to say hi to my daughters, Brooke, Brandy, Brittany. You know, I just want to get that out of the way. But this was fun. You know, to run up in the top 3 all day long, you know, made me feel really good. You know, this is for the legend that lives on, Dale Earnhardt. I mean, this is Dale's place. Hell, this is his series. We're just still taking care of it. But Little Lee up front, I mean, he's a great race car driver, and his car is just so fast. I couldn't do nothing with him.
Kenny, I hate to deliver bad news, but they're telling me that they're going to drop you back to 21st for dropping under the yellow line.
Well, I tell you what. Sterling, I went to go underneath Sterling. He body slammed me, put me down there. So, I mean, if that's what they want to do. Did you hear this? They just said they're going to put me to 21st because when I got underneath Sterling, he slammed me and put me under the yellow line come start-finish line.
Trouble.
This is drama. This is drama.
The drama of 12 extra miles. No, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
He did great. He can fight with them about that, but I'm proud of you.
With your volunteer fire department.
Yeah. You're part of the dirty... No, that's not it. You're part of the Cheryl Ford volunteer fire department.
Here's what I say. NASCAR is the greatest division in the world. I finished 5th today. I know that. So, hell, whatever the hell they want to do. Everybody knows I finished 5th, right? Right. I mean, everybody's seen it. I went underneath Sterling, right? I was underneath him. He turned left. What the hell was I going to do? He run me in the yellow line. So, when you're in your heart and you know you finished 5th, that's good.
All right, Kenny. Thanks, Kenny Wallace. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Okay, with Jimmy Johnson, he's got a smile on. First, the engine was overheating, then it was hot in the car. You still pulled out a top 10 finish.
It was a great day for us. I'm just so proud of the guys put this car together, and we were able to come down here and sit on the pole without any testing or wind tunnel time. And then to get in the race, I knew I had a lot to learn, and I wasn't sure what I really learned from Daytona. But man, it was cool. I had a blast. Everybody really used their heads out there today, and it was a good time. It was hot for sure. I mean, at 2 wide, we can get enough air to the grill and keep the car cool, but as soon as you get in the pack and 3 wide, the oil temp would go to 280, water temp was 250, and all those, the oil lines run right by, and it was pretty warm in there, and that caution didn't help a bit. But very proud of, like I said, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, Fab Shop, Motor Shop, and all support from the employee owners at Lowe's. We're a little down because we thought we had a shot to win it, but I just got to lose some before you win them.
Yeah, you did a great job today. Congratulations to Chris Myers. All right, thank you very much down there. Let's take a look at the points as we've completed 9 races now. Sterling Marlin still your leader. Matt Kenseth taking a hit. Rusty Wallace, who's yet to win this year, hanging in there at 3rd. Earnhardt Jr. with the victory. Jeff moves all the way up to 5th.
Yeah, you got to watch these guys right here. They're really getting stronger as we go along. I think Dale Earnhardt Jr. said it the best. Early on he said, I'm going to finish this race. I'm not going to do something stupid and lose some points. I'm going to keep making points, and points is what's important now.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. celebrating, and terrific support from a teammate, Michael Waltrip.
I'm telling you, I've never seen 2 guys work as good as they do on these super speedways. You see it time after time at Daytona, at Talladega. Who's ever out front, the other guy's willing to cover his behind. And that speaks volumes of what this team's all about. They respect one another, and they know what the job is. They've got to win and finish second.
Real quick, you agree with Kenny Wallace being penalized? No. Okay.
I really would like to see that again because I really believe he had position on Sterling.
UPS, the official delivery company of NASCAR, delivers a chance to win 4 tickets to the 2003 Daytona 500 on Fox by logging on to foxsports.com, keyword UPS Racing. Well, one of NASCAR's most popular driver, as recently voted by the fans, Dale Earnhardt Jr., doing the back-to-back thing at Talladega. His late great father won back-to-back at Talladega 3 different times. Next week we'll be in Fontana, California. So for Dale Earnhardt Jr., there'll be some real celebrating at Club E tonight. That's his own nightclub in the basement of his home. Talladega this weekend saw more crashes than an amateur playing the stock market. 25 laps to go, 24 cars were involved in the wreck today. No serious damage. But in the end, Dale Earnhardt Jr. survives to win in Talladega. Thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox.